Here we are back again, ready to talk fantasy football midweek. But you know what? We're just a day away from the start of week 3. We're going to have more Thursday night action, another interesting game. But we also got some news to break down. I think we're still kind of in the aftermath of the running back apocalypse, although I feel like we say that every year now. But yeah, this week was especially brutal. So we talked a lot. We had a lot of questions. I'm sure we will still have a lot more questions about the Browns backfield and Nick Chubb out for the season. Jerome Ford looking pretty good. And then the all too predictable happens, and Kareem Hunt is a Brown now. So, you know, it's interesting. Everyone's got their takes on this. I, I guess your take might be a little different from some other people. What's your take on Kareem Hunt?
Well, I look, last year before the season, I said Kareem Hunt's a value, like in the 9th round. We know he's going to have a role. He wasn't a value because he was complete dust last year. He was awful. Like, he was terrible. And the only reason he's a Brown, the only reason he's on an NFL team right now is because Nick Chubb got hurt, and it just so happened to be the team that he played for last year. Like if let's say like Tony Pollard got hurt, the Cowboys went to sign Kareem Hunt. Right? It's only because it was Nick Chubb and the Browns. That's it. He's going to have, in my opinion, he's going to have the Kareem Hunt role. The exact role he had last year. Like, sure, 30% of the snaps, get some carries, catch a pass or two. He's done. This, this is starting to remind me of when everybody freaked out about Ramondre, about Zeke. How's that looking right now? How's Zeke doing in New England? He's doing nothing because he's dust. No, people just don't want to let go of these old dusty running backs for some reason. They just don't want to let go. It's like it's gonna be 35 and it's be a Kareem Hunt signing. But anyways, my opinion is, I mean, certainly it would have been better if Jerome Ford just had the backfield, but I don't think any of us expected the Browns to do nothing. They couldn't roll into this, they couldn't roll with just Jerome Ford and Pierre Strong as their only running backs. And this makes sense. He knows the team, he knows the offense. You don't have to get him up to speed. He can come right in. But I still think this is Jerome Ford's backfield.
I think the way you said it is so simplistically beautiful and perfect. Kareem Hunt will now get the Kareem Hunt role. That's what it is. He's going to do the exact same thing as last year. And again, maybe people just forgot. It's like flashback to as if he was in Kansas City. He's a rookie. No, Kareem Hunt last year was worthless in fantasy. I mean, he was. We thought he would be a good value, but didn't realize that he was done being a really good running back. And yeah, he's going to do exactly what he did last year. So if you want that, go for it. So who gets the Nick Chubb role? Oh, wait, it's Jerome Ford. So yeah, I'm still bidding. Well, I mean, waivers probably ran for most leagues, but Jerome Ford's still the guy that you want. Kareem Hunt's still the guy you really shouldn't be interested in. I mean, to me, the only thing this really affects is the fact that, well, I guess they're not really that in on Pierre Strong being the backup. He's just going to be a special teamer. I think that's it.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the thing. Pierre Strong, he plays special teams right now. So it's you don't really want him being the RB2 because you need him on special teams. So they had to bring in somebody. But yeah, I mean, like I said yesterday, the Browns had Kareem Hunt last year. The Browns willingly chose not to bring Kareem Hunt back this year. And according to Hayden Weeks, if you guys watch Underdog, Kareem Hunt was texting teams before the season saying, hey, I'm in shape, I'm ready to play. And teams were like, nah, we're good. And it's not like he asked for Dalvin Cook money up to $4 million. So what's his base going to be? 1.5 or something, probably be $1 million, 1.5 million or something. I don't know if we've seen the actual contract yet, but yeah, this was just a team that was desperate. It's well, he knows the offense. We know the running back. Okay, fine. That's all this was to me.
And then I want to make this quick comparison. A lot of people maybe didn't notice, but the Baltimore Ravens obviously lost Dobbins. He's gone for the season. And so is Gus Edwards, Justice Hill. Justice Hill is hurt now. And so what did they do? They signed Kenyon Drake. Remember Kenyon Drake was a Raven?
Yeah.
This is the same thing. It's we need somebody. So, I mean, do you think Kenyon Drake's going to come in and be the starter?
No.
Maybe. I mean, it's possible, but here's the real question: should we care? No. Okay. It's the same thing to me. Sorry, I don't know. I don't even know that Kareem Hunt is better than Kenyon Drake at this point in his career.
Right.
All right, but just when you thought that was it for running back news, just found out, like within the past hour, I'm sure you guys know this, the Cam Akers saga is over. Just like that, it happened. He did get traded, and I think we definitely have to break down this backfield now. It's Minnesota, which has been, I don't know if it's the worst or at least one of the worst rushing teams so far 2 games, but they've looked terrible. So right now, I'm just going to force you to pick. If you had to pick between Cam Akers and Alexander Mattison rest of the season, who would you take?
I mean, I think you still got to go Madison just because he's the guy. But like, if Madison continues to struggle, I could see Akers, getting more of the work. But I mean, this is already like, even before the season, we were, I was already saying, like, first of all, I didn't think Madison was anything special. And also this, unlike Jerome Ford and the Browns, which we know is a great offensive line and an offense that's going to run the ball, especially with Deshaun Watson not looking good so far through 2 games. This is the opposite offense. They're not going to run the ball. Like, they're past first, second, and third team. And now you got another guy into the mix. I think this just makes the backfield like untouched. Like, look, Cam Akers isn't going to come in this week and affect Alexander Mattison. But within a few weeks here, he is. And this isn't a backfield that can afford. Like, if Jerome Ford is getting 65 and Kareem Hunt's getting 35, Jerome Ford will be okay. If Alexander Madison is getting 65, that's not enough in this backfield, because 65 of very little is even less. You know what I mean? So I just think for me, like, yeah, it just made a backfield I didn't really want any part of, just even more, like, made me want it even less, like a part of it even less.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, 100%. Madison was basically getting almost 100% of the touches in that backfield, and he still wasn't doing much. So even Akers, if he came in and is like, all right, he's the guy, he's getting 100%. 100% of what? 8 carries.
Exactly.
This is not a great run blocking line. Like you said, it's not a run friendly offense. Connell, he wants to pass it, and look, it's working. They're able to pass it pretty well. So, and the sad thing is the defense probably won't allow them to just establish the run. That's the other thing. So it's not an ideal situation for Akers, and it's less than ideal for Madison. So this might just be a backfield to avoid altogether.
Yeah, I will say I think Akers, if he's on your waiver wire and you have the bench space, he's worth an ad, because I mean, at least he's on a team that apparently wants him. And if Madison goes down, he'll probably be the guy here. But again, like, there's not a lot of upside for running backs in this offense right now.
Right. And it's not like Akers the guy, well, he'll come in and be the third down back. And it's not really his thing. He can catch the ball. That's not his specialty. I mean, you know what I mean? So it doesn't take long for everything to change on us, especially when it comes to running back. But 0 RB drafting definitely seems like a good strategy at this point. All right. What also seems like a good idea at this point, if you haven't yet, is signing up for Underdog. Going to keep talking about it because they're going to keep giving you specials, opportunities to get free money. So I'll just say this, the quarterback and tight end start sit, we do every week. If you watch that video, I don't want Daniel Jones in my fantasy lineup this week against the 49ers, but I absolutely definitely want him for a pick-em on Underdog, because all he needs is a yard. They're continuing this. He just needs 1 yard special for new customers. If you're signing up for Underdog for the first time, use code ENDGAME or use that link that you see there. It's in the description too. And when you sign up as a new customer, you get that special. He just needs a yard. So take the higher. Maybe he only gets 2 or 3 yards. That's okay. You still win. And then you can also use the weekly special. They're doing it again. 100K Sunday this week. It's Tyreek Hill, total yards. You can go higher or lower. It doesn't really matter. You don't see the line there. It doesn't matter what the number is. You just use it. Just using the Tyreek Hill line, and you're automatically entered for a chance to win $10,000 again. So use that pick. If you're a new customer, again, use code NGAME to make sure you get that deposit match of 100% up to $100. You don't have to deposit $100. You can just go $10, $20, whatever you feel like. But again, every dollar you put in up to 100, they will match. So just make sure you use that promo code. And there will be even more promotions on Sunday on game day. You know it. So always check back. All right. It's time for us to get to the questions. You know how this works. At least most of you do. If you have a question for start sit, waiver wire trade, whatever it is, we're here for it. If you do a super chat, guarantee we'll answer it. We're definitely going to use those first. We'll try to get to as many as possible. But that super chat, of course, guarantees that we'll get it. So let's start with Marco. What's up, Marco? Here's a trade offer: Hurts and Waller for CD/Hawk or Ertz.
I mean,
CD and one of those tight ends, I guess. I mean, there's a big difference between Hawk and Ertz.
You have to do this, especially if you're getting CD and Hawk. Like you're getting an upgrade at tight end if you get Hawk. Like I think Waller will be good. I mean, I don't know if Waller and if Hawk will badly outscore Waller, but you're at least getting just as good of a tight end, if not an upgrade. You're getting one of the best wide receivers, and you got Anthony Richardson. So I mean, you should be okay. And even if you're not, you can stream QB. I mean, you have to. I think even if you get CD and Ertz, you have to do this. But if you get CD and Hawk, you have to do this.
And, the question is, I'm giving up Jalen Hurts, elite quarterback, and then I would have to roll with AR. That's fine. If you're getting CD, I can live with that. Look at how Anthony Richardson was playing before he got hurt. I think this right here is the appropriate response.
Yes, not even close.
And make sure it's Hawk instead of Ertz. Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to the next one. Keith Tapp. Picked up Kendre and Rashawn. Also have Gainwell if he plays. Which one would you stream? Because he's out of luck. Luckily, you do have Bijan. But who of those guys do you like?
Maybe Rashawn, just because it could be. I mean, it's the Bears, so it probably will be a game where they're throwing a lot. Maybe you can catch some passes in garbage time. I don't really want to start any of these guys, to be honest. But if I had to choose, I guess Rashawn.
I feel like Rashawn is the guy you know he'll probably get you a few points.
Yeah.
I mean, with these choices, maybe just swing for the fences and go with Kendre Miller. See if he does something. I don't expect him to do much because he probably will be limited in touches, but you should probably go Rashawn, though. It's maybe getting a little too bold too soon. Yeah, go Rashawn. All right, Tyler Havens, pick 2 from my running back and wide receiver to start. Got Jacobs, Bijan, Pollard. Okay, nice. I think I have my 2. James Cook, AJ Brown, Nico Collins, T. Higgins, Flowers, or Addison?
It's Bijan, Pollard, AJ Brown, Higgins for me. Like, I know we want to start Nico. I know we want to start Flowers or Addison, but look, I'm not sitting AJ Brown and T. Higgins. I'm just not. And with Jacobs in another tough matchup this week against the Steelers, I believe, right? Yeah, Steelers. You might as well just go with Bijan and Pollard. They'll be great. Don't risk it with Jacobs in another tough matchup. So I'm going Bijan, Pollard, AJ Brown, Higgins for sure.
I mean, you have good choices across the board here.
Yeah.
There's nobody here I don't like. I wouldn't feel comfortable starting, but it's easily Bijan and Pollard. Those are our no doubt most starts, and it's AJ Brown and it's Higgins. I'm feeling Flowers this week. I think could be a big week for him. Addison, you're feeling a big week from him, but I'm not sitting T. Higgins or AJ Brown. Look, I'm not scared of the Rams secondary for T. Higgins, and look what he did last week. So yeah, you have to go with your studs.
It must be like a 6-team league or something. That's a crazy choices there.
Moises needs help. He's 0-2. Lost Dobbins, Eckler again. Got the questionable tag. I have Fields, CJ Stroud, Gainwell, Josh Kelly, Algier. I was waiting. I was hoping I would find more running backs somewhere on this list.
Yeah.
Higgins, Waddle, also questionable. Flowers, Lockett, Nico. Okay, trade, question mark.
I mean, what are you going to trade here? I mean, do you try to trade Waddle for a running back? He is in the concussion protocol. He may not play this week, and you can't really. I mean, look, 0-3 is you're not done at 0-3. You're. I've come back from 1-5 before. You're not done at 0-3. You're fine, but he still has a lot of value. You still have guys like Flowers, Lockett, Nico, so you're pretty good. I mean, you have no running backs, right? You have Eckler and then nothing.
Yeah.
So maybe Waddle, just because he might not play this week, and if you trade him to like a team with good running backs, like the team we just saw, and you can get like another RB. I mean, maybe Lockett. Lockett has some good value right now.
I mean, I think right now all these receivers are tradable to get a running back. Yeah. The problem is, not many running backs left to trade that people want to give up. I mean,
that's the thing.
That finding a partner, that would be the hard part. Look, in this league, I noticed it only starts 2 receivers in the flex. You got 5 receivers that are all startable, easily startable. Like you have 5 good enough receivers, and you, just to be honest, don't have any running backs hey, you really want to start. Hopefully Eckler comes back. I guess in the meantime, you can just go with Kelly. But with this team, you got 5 good receivers. I think it's worth trying to trade one to get a running back.
Yep.
The question is who. I mean, I don't know if it matters which receiver. Obviously, if you trade Higgins or Waddle, you need to get a stud running back.
That's the thing. Like, if you have, like, no one's trading CMC for Waddle. No one's trading Bijan for Waddle. You already have Eckler. There's no point in trading for Barkley right now because you're 0-2 and you're not going to have Barkley probably for 3 weeks.
Doesn't help.
So the next best one is probably Pollard. Like, if you have Pollard, I'm asking you, Pierre, and somebody, well, you're not the right person to ask because your Waddle's like your favorite player. But, like, let's say they offer you Higgins for Pollard. Are you taking Higgins?
I'd rather keep the running back. I mean, look at this landscape. Nobody should be trading CMC for anything. You'd be crazy to do that. I mean, I think you'd have to try to get somebody who you can feel is sort of a buy low. Josh Jacobs is obvious. Ramondre to some extent. Maybe Gibbs, if you think he's going to break out, try to get one of those guys. I wouldn't give up Waddle to get Gibbs.
No, that's the thing. You don't want to give up a guy like Waddle or Higgins to get like a Gibbs or a Ramondre, but no one's going to give you Pollard because it's like you've got one of very few really good running backs. Yeah, tough.
But yeah, I'd say yes, try to trade one of those receivers. If you're getting up those top 2 guys, it should be for a stud running back. If it's any of the others, you can get an RB2 type. You could, I guess, try for Swift and see if that pays off. Try for, somebody along those lines, not Alexander Madison. No. All right. Michael Cazares, non-PPR, has Muth. Would you pick up one of those guys instead?
I might go Ferguson in non-PPR. I don't even know. Like, Muth has such a good matchup this week, but are we really expecting a touchdown from Pat Freiermuth, like, in this offense?
Well, not anymore. We're seeing some numbers of exactly how bad Pickett has been the first 2 weeks, and the offensive line and everything. So that's the thing. It's non-PPR. You're hoping for a touchdown. I think Ferguson probably does have the best chance.
Yeah, Ferguson or Kincaid probably for me. I guess Ferguson, I mean, he gets the red zone targets. He's in a good offense. I mean, Kincaid's in a good offense too. But, yeah, probably Ferguson in non-PPR.
If it was full PPR, you might go Ertz. But in non-PPR, Ferguson. Yeah. And, again, we're not out on Muth because of the matchup is very tempting. But, he's on a bad team. Marcus, WJ, pick 2 running backs between Swift, Gibbs, Madison. Wow. This maybe got a little easier.
It's got to be. Like, I don't think Akers is going to have a big impact on Madison this week, but it's still Swift and Gibbs. It's still Swift and Gibbs for me.
Yeah, it would have been Swift and Gibbs no matter what.
Yeah.
And then flex Flowers or Nico.
I got to go Flowers slightly over Nico. He's just in such a good spot this week. I go Flowers, but I think they're both going to be great.
Yeah, I'm going Flowers too this week. Last week was more Nico week. I think this is Flowers. Demon Slayer, what is up? Ford in Algier for Pacheco and Dotson.
Probably. I think so. I think if you're getting Pacheco and Dotson, I still like Dotson long term. Pacheco looks like he'll at least be the guy in KC. Algier, we're just going to see less and less of Algier. We already started to see less. It's easy to look and see, he got 16 carries again, but I mean, they ran the ball like 40 times in that game or something. I don't know, like ridiculous. Bijan is just like, I'm pretty sure by now everybody realizes how good Bijan is, right? Like everybody who commented on our videos or said like, you can't be this high on a rookie. Like they realize how good he is now, right? Like everybody, I think at this point,
I would hope so.
Like you can't really believe that Algier's role isn't going to just go get lower and lower when you watch Bijan run. So I think Ford will be better than Pacheco, but I think Dotson will be way better than Algier. So I'll take the Pacheco and Dotson side.
Yeah, I agree because I think this is selling, as high as you can on Algier, maximizing what his value is. I mean, I would prefer Ford to Pacheco, but I don't think it's going to be a huge gap. So getting that Dotson, yeah, it's worth it. So I would take the Pacheco Dotson type side too. Marcus had a good follow-up here. Interesting question. He says he thinks that Akers is going to take the Madison role like last year with Madison, like the Cook role. So I guess 1A, 1B. But are they thinking Akers is just going to be a change of pace guy, basically?
I mean, probably for a while, and you might be right, but I think the risk here for Madison now is like if he continues to struggle. Whereas before, if he continued to struggle, it's like, well, okay, maybe Ty Chandler takes his role, but it's Ty Chandler. It's not like, now he's got Akers behind him. So if he continues to struggle, there's a greater chance that somebody eats into his carries and into his role because Akers is at least a good back. So I think that's the risk for Madison now is like, whereas before we could feel pretty good he's going to get all the touches. Now it's like, well, maybe he'll still get all the touches for a while, but if he continues to struggle, those touches probably will start diminishing.
Yeah. And again, I think to some extent, this is more also about the depth or lack of depth at running back than more so than Madison, because Ty Chandler just hasn't touched the ball. They obviously don't feel comfortable to him. Pass protection matters. But yeah, he hasn't stepped on the field. Some people, thought, well, maybe McBride, coming in this season, the rookie, well, he didn't make the final roster. They just don't have any depth there. So yeah, I don't feel Akers will be more than just the 1B change of pace back unless Madison really struggles or unless Akers is just rejuvenated there and all of a sudden looks really good, which I don't expect, but we'll see. Nathan, 12-man PPR 2 flex starters are Tua, Ramondre, Kyron, Diggs, AJ Brown, Mark Andrews, Keenan, Olave. On the bench, he's got those guys. Trades, improvements. Is this a Super Bowl team?
It could be. I mean, it certainly could be. You've got really good wide receivers. You've got an elite tight end. You got Tua. You got Ramondre. If Kyron is going to be the big wild card this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, if he keeps doing what he's doing, sure. But when you look at Kyron, he's got 3 touchdowns, right? Well, 4 touchdowns, actually, right? 4 touchdowns through 2 games. It's not like he's putting up huge yardage games. It's not like he caught a bunch of passes last game, but not the first game, right? Or vice versa. There was one game where I think it was the last game, right? He caught a bunch of passes, but in the first game, he didn't really catch any. That's going to be the big wild card. Like, is he scoring 34 touchdowns this year? Probably not. I'm going to go out on a limb and say no. Those touchdowns are going to start drying up. And I don't know if the yardage and the pass catching is there to sustain him as an RB1, but I think he can still be like an okay RB2. So yeah, I definitely think it has the potential to be a Super Bowl team or a championship team. And look, if Breece Hall can somehow by the end of the season get close to, like, if you can get back to like 80, 90%, it might not even matter what Kyren does, because maybe Breece Hall can just be your RB2 down the stretch. So, yeah, I think this team should be fine. Definitely.
I'm definitely a contender, even if, Kyren is not a guy who keeps it up. Like, just on your wide receiver alone, and you got Mark Andrews, I think you'll be fine. I'm okay with Ramondre. You'll have somebody you can play RB2. So yeah, I think I wouldn't trade. I mean, he's asking trades. I wouldn't mess with this.
Yeah.
Nope. Christopher Laborde, would you start Pickens or Kirk this week?
You got to start Pickens for the same reasons. I mean, we weren't telling everybody to start Kirk. Obviously, there was some, but for the same reasons we said sometimes, like, hey, you got to start Kirk because he could blow up this week. You got to start Pickens. I mean, against the Raiders, this is like, if you drafted Pickens and you're not starting him this week, then I don't even know why you drafted Pickens. Like, what'd you draft him for? You get no Deontay Johnson against the Raiders. This is as good as it can get for Pickens. You have to start. Have to.
Yeah, it's the Raiders. I mean, I'm going to start Pickens over a whole lot of people this week.
Yeah.
You have to. I mean, look what he did last week. Yeah. I mean, no, he might not do what he did last week, but I'm going to find out.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want him to do what he did last week or more on your bench. That's for sure.
Exactly. Tyler Sperry, start Pittman or Josh Reynolds?
They're saying Amon-Ra St. Brown is day-to-day with a toe, but he didn't practice today, but it's only Wednesday. I'll say this. If Amon-Ra St. Brown is out, I think Josh Reynolds is clearly the start here, because he's obviously like the preferred number 2 target. Now he'll probably become the preferred number 1 target for Jared Goff at home against the Falcons. Do I start him over Pittman if Amon-Ra St. Brown plays, though? Because it is a bad matchup for Pittman, and he's got Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, I think that matters.
I think if Amon-Ra plays, I still got to go Pittman, but I just couldn't. I don't know if I could like live with myself putting Josh Reynolds in over Pittman. But if Amon-Ra is out, I'm definitely going Josh Reynolds in.
Yeah, look, I'm there. Guys like Kyren Williams and Josh Reynolds, I just kind of have to talk myself into like, oh no, they're actually good now. It's like, look, Josh Reynolds could be in a really good spot this week. I mean, all things considered, I might just go Josh Reynolds because Pittman doesn't have a good matchup, could have Gardner Minshew. Reynolds has looked good even with St. Brown there. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go Josh Reynolds. Go for that upside. Christian Chain, playing Kyren as RB2. No problem with that. Have 2 flex spots open. Who to choose? Terry, Raheem, Javonte, or Kelly?
I'm going Terry and Raheem. I'm still not loving. I mean, look, maybe Kelly will bounce back this week. It's certainly not as tough of a matchup against the Vikings. But I think this is going to be a game where it's like both teams throw the ball a ton. And Raheem has proven, like, at least until Jeff Wilson gets back, he's proven that matchup doesn't really matter for him. He can always rip off a long run. He's in a great offense. So I'm going Terry and Raheem.
Yeah, I am too. Kelly definitely could be better, but I'm going to not defer to the week 1 version of Kelly we saw. I'm going to think more to like the last year version of Kelly we saw, which is not a guy who's a bell cow back and not a guy who's going to rip off long runs. So I don't think he's a bad start, but I definitely would go Mostert because he's going to get all the touches also. And he's in I'll say he's in a better offense.
Yeah. The big concern for me for Kelly was he had 0 targets last week.
Right.
It would have been one thing if we knew he was going to get shut down by that Titans run defense. That's just what they do. But if he had caught in like 3 passes, it'd be like, okay, like at least he wasn't even involved in no targets, like just nothing in the passing game. So he's just a early down grinder. That's it. So, which is kind of what Raheem Mostert is too, but at least he's in an offense where, like, we know what he can do in that offense. We've seen what he can do, and he's got the juice to, rip off a big run. So I'm going Terry and Raheem.
I mean, if volume is pretty much going to be the same for these guys, Mostert has that big play upside. You know that. We saw it last week, even in what was not a great matchup. So, yeah, Terry and Raheem. And then other John, come back. AR if he plays or Fields.
Okay, well, did you see all the Fields stuff today? Fields basically said, I'm just going to do what I want to do. Like, I'm just going to play the way I want to play. Like, basically, screw the coaches. I'm not just going to stand in the pocket and go through my progressions. Like, I'm just going to play like me. Does that make us feel better about Fields this week? Like, are we going to see Fields run the ball 10 times this week and have 100 yards?
It can't be worse.
But we know Anthony Richardson can do that too. And we know Shane Steichen will actually let him do that, right? Because he's been letting him do that. Like, I think if AR plays, I feel better about him this week. Let me see Fields go out there and say screw it to the coaches and do what he wants before I play him over. Because we know Anthony Richardson can run for just as much or more yards and touchdowns than Fields. So I'll take Anthony Richardson, but I don't think he's going to play, to be honest. But we'll see. I hope he does.
Yeah, I mean, it's too early to call it. I haven't seen any updates. I mean, you know how it is in the protocol. So I probably would just say put Fields in, and then if AR is good to go, you can switch. I'm curious to see what Fields does. It's the Chiefs. He could run around for a while, have some fun. They tried. He's not a pocket passer. Like, fine. He can still be a good quarterback, at least for fantasy. Yeah. So I would put Fields in for now. And let's see.
It's crazy to me that we're in 2023, and we've seen quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts, Anthony Richardson now, Lamar Jackson, guys who weren't considered like great traditional pocket passers, whose teams have let them play to their strengths, and they've been phenomenal. And we still have teams out there that are like, no, let's just make him a pocket passer. Like, why? You have a weapon that most people don't have, and you're just like, no, just be a pocket passer. Like, it's not 1985 anymore. Come on, guys. Come
on. Some teams, the Bears aren't allowed to have good quarterbacks. You know how it is. Let's see. This is a quick one. I got to put this up because, Big Luscious is always here with us. And this is a good chance to just rail against the whole veto system. Remember that trade that he was going to do? He talked about last night. Said the commissioner reversed it. I don't even know if that's possible. It says not even a league veto, just commissioner.
Oh, that's
override.
Even worse. That's even worse because that's like the commissioner is just like, it's not even like a democracy, right? It's like, I have all the power.
That's not good. I mean, that's a commissioner issue, though. That's not a veto thing. I mean, just going to say, we have in-game leagues next year. We'll have some more, compete against the best.
You don't have to worry about that in there.
Big Ted. London and Rashad White for T. Higgins.
And T would be your wide receiver 3. So this is why I love these type of trades, because you look at it and you say, oh, wait.
It looks like he's saying T is my wide receiver 3, and he needs a running back, so it looks like he's giving up T.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm all the way sold on London and White just yet. I did like him. I know I liked him a lot before the draft. Like, I feel like it's fair value. Like, I don't feel like you're getting hosed here. But, I mean, if T is your wide receiver 3, like, I'm assuming your wide receiver 1 and 2 is, I don't know, Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill. I mean, I don't even know, right? Like, they're probably pretty good is what I'm saying. I think I would just want to keep that advantage. Like, I mean, look at what we already have, guys like Kyron Williams, Jerome Ford, Zach Moss. Who else am I forgetting? Like, who'd everybody go run out and grab this week? Matt Breida. Gus Edwards looks like he's going to be a great start this week because Justice Hill might not play. I mean, right. RB2s are not hard to find. They're not hard to find, right? Like, it's not hard to find one. You just got to be diligent, and you got to, like, really, work the waiver wire. But like having T as your wide receiver 3 means you probably have the best wide receiver group in your league by far. And I don't really want to give that up just to get an RB2. So I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I don't feel like you're getting enough here. I don't think it's giving you enough of an advantage. I mean, yeah, I wish I was more sold on Rachaad White at this point also. But again, I don't feel like you're going to be super thrilled having done this, because London will have his down games again. He'll have up games and down games. So, no, I don't think I would do this if you're giving up T. And speaking of Drake London, do this one from Tony Sill. Drake London or Tutu Atwell?
I still got to go London. I can't do it. Like, maybe Atwell outscores him, but I can't do this. I'm still going London.
Yeah, I'm going London. He doesn't have a bad matchup in right, because they're going Detroit at Detroit, and then
and Gardner Johnson is out.
Hurt.
Gardner Johnson's out. He's on IR, I think. So
yeah, I'll still go London too. Joker, who's a better stash rest of the season? Tyjae Spears or Kendre Miller, which got interesting now. He's going to be back. They say that he's playing, going to need to play. Now Jamal Williams out for a few weeks or however long.
I think it's Tyjae Spears. I mean, just the way he's getting used in that offense and the way he looks, I'm excited for Jerome Ford the rest of the season. But if Derrick Henry goes down, Tyjae Spears is going to be better than Jerome Ford. He just is. Like, the way they're using him and the way he looks, he's going to be great. So I like Kendre Miller. But look, Kamara's coming back next week. Jamal Williams isn't out for the season, right?
No.
It's not like he's gone all year. Like, he's never coming back. He's coming back. Taysom Hill will vulture touchdowns sometimes. If Derrick Henry goes down, there's nobody's taking touches from Tyjae Spears. It's Tyjae Spears.
Yeah, before the season, I would have said Miller. Yeah. But Spears is getting used more than we anticipated. He's looking better than I anticipated. I think Miller is definitely worth a stash, but right now you do have to go with Spears. CR Noble, would you drop Brandon Cooks for Mike Williams?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How's Mike Williams on waivers?
How much FAAB? I mean, I would use all my FAAB for Mike Williams. I mean, look. I mean, you know your league. You know how these guys are. If Mike Williams is on your waiver wire, I mean, maybe no one's going to get him. I don't know, but in any competitive league, it should require all your FAAB to get Mike Williams off the waiver wire. Like, is there going to be a better waiver wire pickup than Mike Williams? Probably not.
I'm trying to think. Is there another M. Williams? It can't be why would somebody drop Mike Williams? Like, why?
There's no other M. Williams that I can think of. Like Matt Williams?
Yeah, all of it.
Marble Williams? I don't even know. No. Yeah, all of it.
Monty Williams?
I would drop all of it. Like, you're getting a guy that was picked in like the 5th round of fantasy drafts and has been good. He's been good through 2 games. He hasn't even been bad. Like, why did they drop? He scored like 16 points last week. Why did they drop him? I don't even understand.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, Drake London, okay, he had 0 in week 1, and that offense didn't pass the ball. There's no okay. Yeah,
no. And he's healthy. It's not even like he's hurt. Like, I don't get it. There is no reason.
Abimanu, welcome back. Full PPR for RB2, wide receiver 2, and flex. We got to pick between these guys. Got Rashad, DeAndre Swift, Zach Moss, Drake London, Jordan Addison, Elijah Moore, Rashid Shaheed. Okay, so we need 1, 1, and 1.
Okay, so for running back 2, I'm going Swift. I'm going to bank on it. I just don't like White's matchup again this week. It's a really tough matchup against that Eagles run defense. So give me Swift this week. Wide receiver 2, definitely Addison for me. Definitely Addison.
Yep.
I think I still got to flex London. Zach Moss in a tough spot this week. White in a tough spot. It's PPR. Shaheed is interesting, but against the Packers, I still got to go London over Shaheed. So I'm going London at flex. I think I'm going Cade Otton at tight end, by the way, here. I like Cade Otton. He's getting targets. If you've watched our QB tight end video today, we talked about it. I don't think people realize it, but the Eagles are, I think, the worst defense against tight ends so far. I mean, you look at week 1, Hunter Henry went off. Last week, who did they play last week?
Hawkinson.
Yeah. Hawkinson went nuts, right? Hawkinson went nuts. They've been horrible against defending tight ends, and Cade Otton is getting involved. He's 6 targets last week. So I'm going Otton at tight end.
Otton is that sneaky streamer this week that you want in your lineup, and it's right tomorrow. Booms come out. All right.
Yes, tomorrow. Yep.
Watch tomorrow's video. We'll see what we think of Otton. Although I will say this with Pitts, I'm keeping him. Okay, 2 things. First of all, I picked up and am starting Cade Otton in 3 different leagues this week. All right. Thing number 2, though, I am keeping Pitts in other lineups because he's playing the Lions. And if you remember the Lions last week, they got gashed by 3 different tight ends. Remember the Seattle kept going these random tight ends. You're like, who's that? Colby Parkinson, Will Disley, Noah Fant even caught a pass. It's like, and so they haven't been good against the tight end either. But Cade Otton has a bigger target share. He's the number 3 target in that offense. I mean, just legitimately, he's number 3. It's Evans, Godwin, and then Otton. So yeah, short story is Otton, Swift, Addison. I actually might lean Elijah Moore just because of that amazing matchup that Cleveland has against Tennessee. We'll try Elijah Moore one more week and see what happens. Humberto Saucedo, Watson, Dotson, London, or that guy, Elijah Moore.
Well, for me, if Watson's playing, I'm playing him. I mean, Jordan Love's looked great so far. He's throwing touchdowns to everybody. It's not like the best matchup, but I don't really care. If Watson's back and he's practicing, he did practice limited today. So if he's getting like full practices in tomorrow and Friday and he's good to go, not on the injury report, I'm playing him over these guys.
Yeah. If Watson plays, you don't have to play him, but you should. Yeah. So I would go Watson. And then our friends at Bear Camp Cabin Rentals. All right. Thank you again, as always. Garrett Wilson, Nico Collins, or Michael Pittman?
Easily Nico Collins for me this week. Pittman in a tough spot on the road against the Ravens. Garrett Wilson in a tough spot because he has Zach Wilson and also in a brutal matchup. Definitely Nico Collins for me.
Yeah, I think we're going to be saying no to Garrett Wilson a lot the rest of the season. Not every time, but yeah, just watch when he doesn't take one to the house this week.
I don't think people realize how lucky they have gotten with Garrett Wilson so far. Like, if you look at 43% of his targets have been catchable. Zach Wilson, lowest in accuracy for all quarterbacks. Like, Garrett Wilson should have done nothing so far this season. Like, you have gotten the fantasy gods are saying, here's another sell high opportunity. Are you going to take it or not? And people are just like, nah.
It'll be fine. Yeah. Poor Garrett. It just shows you, it's so frustrating. It just shows you if he had even a decent quarterback, he would have been worth a first-round pick.
Oh,
he could dominate.
Look,
he could be such a good receiver.
Yeah, before people comment down below and say you hate Garrett Wilson, we were telling everybody that would listen to draft Garrett Wilson in the first round.
We were the highest out of anybody on Garrett Wilson. In our drafts, pretty much all offseason, he was a first-round pick. And everyone's like, oh, well, why are you taking him in the first round? Well, we'll never know what he would have done this year. But
yeah, well, unfortunately, he doesn't have Aaron Rodgers anymore. And yeah.
Well, yeah. All right, Nico Collins it is. Good luck, Bear. Dallas Sullivan got Mixon, Kyron, James Cook, and Hunt. Who do I start?
I'm guessing you're starting 2 of these guys. I'm going Kyron, and it's close for me between Cook and Mixon. It's like, do I like the better player who won't score touchdowns, or do I like the worst player who could score a touchdown? Because we know Cook's not scoring a touchdown unless he scores from 20 yards out or something, right? Like, he's not. It's just sad.
Sadly, yes.
I guess Mixon. It's not a bad spot against the Rams. They're at home. You got to think they bounce back this week at home. We got to see a better Bengals team this week. I'll go Mixon and Kyren.
Yeah, for now, still go Mixon and Kyron as well. And then he says 12-minute PPR, one flex receiver. I've got Diggs, Flowers, Pickens, and Garrett Wilson. Okay, well, let's do that. So receiver, I mean, obviously you're starting Diggs.
Well, I'm assuming 2 and a flex. I mean, just bench Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
Trade Garrett Wilson. But if you're not going to trade him, bench him.
And then Dak or Fields.
Well, see, if you'd asked me this 6 hours ago before Justin Fields talked to the media, I would say, oh, I'm definitely starting Dak. He gets the Cardinals. He should be great this week. But now I'm worried like Justin Fields is going to go scorched earth and just run he's going to run it 20 times. Like he's not like they're going to call in the play and he's just going to take the snap and run. He's not even going to care, right? He's not even going to listen to the coaches. And he's going to run for like 200 yards or something this week.
He's going to do like what I do in Madden, just run around for like 10 seconds. And when the pass rush comes, just take off and
yeah,
go as much as you can.
But that's probably not what he's going to do because this is real life, not fantasy. Although we talk about fantasy. So I guess I probably still go Dak. Dak just feels safer this week, and he's got a trip. I mean, against the Cardinals, you can't be scared of the only thing you could be scared about here is if like the defense scores 2 touchdowns again, like week 1, and he doesn't have to do anything. But like the Cardinals have been fighting. They've been keeping games close. They've been putting up fights. Josh Dobbs not really turning the ball over. I like Dak. I'll go Dak.
It's not that I'm scared of the Cardinals defense. I'm just worried it's not a super high scoring game because if the Cardinals aren't turning the ball over and they're running and Connor's been fairly good, the Cowboys maybe don't just roll like they have been. I think Dak will be okay. I think he'll be fine. I mean, he's always fine. He's always worth starting. I don't know. Fields is tempting. It's just it's tempting to see what he does, because all he needs is that one big run, and there you go. He makes your day. So
true.
And I say that partly too because I'm looking and it's like your running back 1 is Mixon and your running back 2 is Kyren Williams. So I was like, maybe you need a little bit more upside. That's
maybe you need a running back at QB.
A running back at QB. There you go. So I might go Field, but you're fine with Dak too. What's up, Carl? Carl Williams is a member. Thank you. We appreciate that. We also did get a new member. We'll get to in a second. Looking for stash depth. Have a Shane. And is that Russell Wilson? You could drop Russell Wilson. Wait another week. What about a Shane?
Well, I mean, looking at the options on the waiver wire, maybe Gainwell because look, you could drop. I assume Russell Wilson isn't your QB1 if he's a possible drop. So you can drop Russell Wilson. I think I would pick up Gainwell, not just because you have Swift, but because we still don't really know what Gainwell's role is going to be when they're both healthy. And the last time we saw Gainwell, his role was every single touch pretty much. So I think Gainwell is worth an ad, but I wouldn't drop, I would drop Russell Wilson for Gainwell, but I'm not dropping a Shane. I mean, maybe you can drop him for Brandon Cooks if you are desperate at wide receiver, but Jameson, no, Zay Jones. You know what's funny? This goes back the week 1 overreactions. Remember after week 1, it's like, oh my gosh, Christian Kirk is the wide receiver 3. You know who has the highest target share on the Jaguars after 2 weeks now? Christian Kirk. You know who has the lowest target share? And this includes Evan Ingram. Zay Jones. Zay Jones now has a lower target share than Evan Ingram. Everybody over week 1, oh. Anyways, point is I'm not picking up Zay Jones. So I would drop Russ for Gainwell. If you want to drop a Shane for Brandon Cooks, I'm okay with that. But I'm also okay holding the Shane. I mean, if you don't really need Cooks.
Yeah, I still would give Cooks a shot. So I would do that. I would drop those 2 guys that you mentioned and pick up Gainwell and Cooks. And then happy with another one. Full PPR start 2. James Cook, Madison, Connor, and Sanders.
All right. Well, here I say this, but I can pretty easily go James Cook. It's not a terrible matchup this week. He can still catch passes. He can still rack up a huge yardage game. He could score from farther out. He's got the potential. I think I still go Madison this week. I know Connor's getting all the volume, but Do you really want to start James Conner against the Cowboys? Not really. I mean, I really don't. And do you really want to start with Miles Sanders against? How come I can never remember who? It's because they're so boring. I never remember who they play. Like their offense is just so boring. Who do they play again?
Yeah. They play the Seahawks.
All right, so it's like middle of the road, like middle of the pack.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Maybe Sanders. Maybe I go James Cook and Sanders, I guess. Although, look, maybe Madison is motivated this week and runs hard. He's like, wait a minute, what?
I mean, he does have a good matchup on paper. He just hasn't been good. James Cook for sure. It's kind of a toss-up between all three of these guys. If you want to play it safe and boring, go Sanders. If you want to live dangerously, go Madison. If you want somewhere in the middle, then go Connor. And speaking of, there's Alex B. became a member. Thank you, Alex. We appreciate you. Appreciate everyone dropping super chats as well. If you did put a super chat in the last half hour, we are still going to get to it. So hang tight with us. Let's do a couple of quick regular chats. This one will be easy from Old Chud Muffin. Olave or Nico?
Gotta go Olave. I'm not benching Olave. And look, we love Nico, but we're not benching Olave.
Olave, if you watch the very first minute of the start sit, Olave is a must start. Nico is not quite there yet.
Yeah, which like a lot of people don't watch the first minute of the start sit.
I know. Guillermo Castillo, Stevenson for Ridley and Pierce.
This is like to me a very fair what do you need trade. If you're like, hey, I went, double RB and I got Bijan and Tony Pollard, and then I took Stevenson. And so it's like, okay, you need wide receiver, then yeah, the Ridley side is a good trade here. Because like Pierce for me, like maybe he'll come around, but man, it's not looking good in this offense behind this offensive line. But on the other side, if you're like, hey, my running backs are, Ramondre Stevenson and Alexander Madison, then I'm keeping Stevenson. All right, you got to keep Stevenson. So this is a very like fair, probably helps both teams. If you need wide receiver, take the Ridley side. If you need running back, take the Stevenson side.
Yeah, my instant reaction is to take the Ridley side because I like Ridley. Think he's going to be good. I still think Pierce will be okay, at least startable. I mean, don't expect Pierce to replace Stevenson value for value. I would hope not. If Stevenson's your RB1, like you said, you're thin, don't do it. But I think you can probably do this. And then Johann Unterkofler from Germany.
What's
all right.
up?
We're definitely global. I have
where we can like you pin like all the countries we've gotten like questions from, because we've had like 6 or 7 different countries now. I think it's pretty cool.
Multiple continents at this point.
Yeah.
I got Lamb and Devontae Smith as starters, Collins, Addison, Flowers, and Wilson on the bench. Who to flex? 10-team league.
Gotta go Devontae Smith. I just can't. Like, I like Addison this week. I like Flowers this week. I like Collins this week. Oh, wait, they're the starters. My bad.
He's saying Lamb and Smith are starters. So I guess we're picking between Collins, Addison, Flowers, and Wilson.
Okay. You know what is cool? Because these are 3 guys, like especially Addison and Flowers, right? We were telling everybody draft Addison and Flowers. I do regret that we didn't talk about Nico more because we were high on Nico. We just never really talked about him a lot. Like we did in some videos, I think, but I wish we would have talked about him more because we both thought this was going to be a third-year breakout for him.
Yep.
But it's cool to see like how so many people have these players and that they're doing well, and everybody like must have watched our videos and are profiting now. But anyways, these guys are all really close for me. I think Addison could have a huge game. I think Flowers could have a huge game.
It's a tough call. I would say, well, I think we had a question very similar to this, if not the same, yesterday, last night.
I think we had like 3 or 4 like this, honestly, where like a lot of people have Flowers, Addison, and Collins, which is awesome.
Which is
awesome.
Good. That's very good. I think this week I might actually put Collins third out of this group.
Yep.
So I like them both. I'm leaning Flowers because I feel better about the target volume.
Yeah, probably. Although I was looking today, you know what Addison's average depth of target is right now?
Something like 40 yards.
No, I mean that would be insane.
All right.
15 and a half.
All right.
15 and a half. He's like 10th among all players, and he's gotten like more targets than everybody above him. Like, man, in this matchup, he could have like a ridiculous game, but I do probably slightly lean Flowers because he is technically the number one wide receiver. It's the Colts. They get demolished by number one wide receivers. Slight edge to Flowers, but I mean, all these guys could go off this week.
Yeah, either one of you good, Addison or Flowers. I mean, you have great receivers. It's 10-teamer, but still. All right, appreciate you. Alex does have a question, Flowers or Ayuk? Now, Ayuk is questionable.
Yes, and he plays tomorrow, so you may have no choice, but I think if Ayuk plays, it's a great matchup for Ayuk this week against the Giants. Like this Giants defense got shredded by Arizona led Josh Dobbs last week. This Giants defense looks horrible. What happened to this defense? They weren't elite last year, but they were at least like good. They look terrible right now. Maybe they have injuries and I'm not aware of it. I don't know. But I think I still have to go Ayuk over Flowers. I think like Ayuk has tremendous weekly upside too. He's in a bet, he's a good player. I'm still going Ayuk.
Thing is, it's a shoulder injury. He's going to be like up to the game time decision. I mean, I'm fine starting Flowers. I like Flowers a lot this week. I might just put Flowers in there and feel more comfortable because the thing with Ayuk, they might say, okay, well, he's a little nicked up. Let's just go to Debo this week. Let's go to Kittle, who hasn't done anything the first 2 weeks, because they can do that. So I would probably put Flowers in there, but you definitely want to keep an eye on Ayuk and his status.
Yeah.
What about Henry Odom? He traded Kyren Williams and Addison for A.J. Brown.
I'm gonna call that a win. Even though I like Addison, I'm still skeptical about Kyren Williams. I mean, again, like you look at Kyren Williams this year, he's got 104 yards, 3.6 yards per carry. He's got what has he got receiving wise? He's got 6 catches for 50 yards, which is all in last game. It was all last game. He had 0 catches week 1. He's got 4 touchdowns. I mean, if he hadn't scored, if he had 0 touchdowns right now, how would we feel about Kyren Williams? Not that great, right? Not that great. He's not going to score 2 touchdowns for 17 straight games. That would break every. He'd make LaDainian Tomlinson look like a amateur. So I think long term, even though I really do like Addison, I think long term this will be a win for you.
Yeah, I think this is a win. You got a clear-cut number 1 receiver like Addison, but he's not that. He won't be that this year. So, yeah, I think that's a win. What about Giovanni Casas? 2-0, lost Chubb and Dobbins. Oof. Got Connor, Moss, have Watson, Devontae, Puka, Judy, and also Hawkinson. What value? Is this a team that should trade Puka?
Yeah, I'm going to keep saying it. Trade Puka. Not just because I'm like worried about Puka when Kupp comes back. I think Puka will be fine when Kupp comes back, but he's not getting 20 targets when Cooper Kupp is on the field. Let's be real here. The reason I say Puka is because you can get a really good player back for Puka. Right? You can like if you're like, hey, I'll give you Jerry Jeudy. What are you getting for Jerry Jeudy? James Conner? You already have James Conner. You know what I mean? Zach Moss, you already have what is somebody giving you for Jerry Jeudy? Like maybe Adams, but do you really want to trade Adams? I don't think so. No. Watson hasn't played. No one's really trading for Watson right now. I think Puka is a sell higher. I've seen some crazy Puka trades. I like some crazy Puka trades in our Discord. Just insane. Like Puka has to be a top 10 player rest of the season for these trades to even make sense type trades. So I would be looking to trade Puka right now.
Yeah, and again, it's not predicting his downfall or saying he's not going to have value after this. It's just this very well could be the peak of his value, yes. Like that stock that keeps going higher. And, it's like, oh, there's no way it can keep going higher. Well, maybe it will, but do you want to get out before it starts to go down or take a chance that it keeps going up when it's already much higher than anybody anticipated?
Yeah.
I mean, you're taking a calculated risk. So if you're that desperate for running back, which it looks like you are,
yeah,
trade Puka. You should be able to get great value. Then let's see, James Rogers, just a tip. All right. Well,
All
we
right. Thank
appreciate
you.
you. Guys, trust
Appreciate
me,
you.
we appreciate you much, much more.
Yes.
All right, Dan Fuller, 12 team PPR, 2-0. Good shape. Well, let's see. T-Law, Gibbs, Aaron Jones, Kyron. Okay, he can replace him. Jefferson, Lamb, Higgins. Yeah, you're in good shape. AR Sutton, Musgrave, Josh Reynolds.
Yeah, you're in good shape. I mean, Kyron's been carrying you, of course. Gibbs is going to get better. Aaron Jones will be back. You're wide receiver. You're stacked at wide receiver. Jefferson, Lamb, and Higgins. I mean, people were just so low on Higgins this year, letting people get Higgins as their wide receiver 3. Like, what are we doing? You got Anthony Richardson and T-Law. You might even try to trade one of those guys, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, both. Obviously, this is not the time to trade T-Law after a bad game and Richardson in concussion protocol. Maybe after this week,
Yeah.
if Lawrence puts up numbers, you don't need them both.
You're good. You're good. This team is good. This team should certainly be a contender, yes.
You're in very good shape. Very good shape. Then let's see to Joe. Drop Akers, now that he's a Viking, for one of these guys.
Pierce? Damian Pierce?
It must be Pierce.
Damian Pierce.
He's been bad. I understand that. I mean, I wouldn't drop him, but I understand it at least.
I mean, he's been bad, but like, has Edwards been great? Has Warren been great? Gainwell got in that first game, got all the touches and did nothing. I'm still going Pierce here. I'm dropping Akers for Pierce. I mean, he's still pretty much the guy in Houston. Like, none of these guys excite me more than Pierce. I'm dropping Akers for Pierce.
Yeah, I think so. Still gonna hope that Pierce gets better, or at least that the offense gets better. I don't even think it's just him. It's the offensive line. It's the defense is terrible. The game script has been against him. It's just game. It's everything, right? It's not just like he's been personally bad. Like, there's no other running back that's been good on that team. They're just not even running the ball. Yeah, I'm still picking up Pierce. I think if you need somebody for this week, Gus Edwards is the pick because he's going to get pretty much all the carries and he got a soft matchup. But long term, I think you got to go Pierce. And this is a good question from Robert Booth because we had a ton of Jerome Ford questions, obviously, with the FAAB and how much FAAB saying go all in. Now that Hunt has been signed and your waivers haven't run, now how much? I wouldn't say the question is how much should you bid? How much do you think you need to bid?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, this is where you got to know your league, right? Like, so the only league where Ford was even available for me in is a Superflex league. I play with my buddy. Look, it's a good league. Like, the guys generally know what they're doing and they try. They don't just quit, but it's by no means like, it's not like, again, all the end game leagues I checked, Jerome Ford was already on a team, right? Because they're too sharp. They're way too sharp. And we were going back and forth last time, my buddy and I, like, can we get away with 70? Can we get away with 50? We probably could have. But the other thing you got to think is like, okay, let's say you try to go low, right? You go, I can get him for 30 or 40 or 50. And then somebody outbids you. Okay, you still have your FAAB. But if Jerome Ford is that guy this year, are you going to be happy you still have your FAAB? Or are you going to wish you had Jerome Ford? You know what I mean? Can you put your FAAB in your RB1 slot or your RB2 slot to get you fantasy points? No, you can't. So we said it. We were like, you know what? Whatever. Like, we can still get guys for $0. We got Nico Collins for $0 week 1. We got Jalen Warren for $0 this week after we dropped all our FAAB on Jerome Ford. And we didn't need to drop that much because nobody bid that much. But again, our thing was like, and I'm not telling you to drop all your FAAB, because if you're in a league where nobody does anything on the waiver wire, you don't need to do that. But what I'm saying is, like, for me, it's like chances like Jerome Ford don't come up very often during the season. Like a clear starting running back in a great running offense on a team that's going to run the ball in week 3. Like, that just does not happen very often in fantasy. I'm willing to do it because it's FAAB. It's FAAB. You can't trade in your FAAB at the end and get extra fantasy points. They don't do anything. It's fake money. It's not like it's coming out of your real bank account. People are so stingy with their FAAB. Like,
You know, it's
So
funny today, somebody in one of our leagues, I'm not going to name, but I also don't even remember exactly, but because one of our leagues, somebody, I guess, needed a tight end and offered me like 13 fab dollars out of 100. It's 100 budget. I think $13 for Hunter Henry. And I was like, I don't want fab, decline. I didn't spend that. I spent like $2 maybe to get Hunter Henry. Like, I don't need Hunter Henry because I already have, I think, Travis Kelce. So I picked up Henry because Kelce, was hurt. And I immediately looked. I was like, well, I don't want fab, and I declined it. So it's like that's not going to motivate me to to give up a player that I might need. So yeah, bottom line is you don't have to spend it all now, but spend what you think it'll take to get him if you need him.
yes.
All right, Joker with a very interesting. He's asking real life here. We're getting away from fantasy. What real life trade value do you think Algier would have for a team that might need a running back like Baltimore?
No, there's no like what running back is worth a second round pick right now? Like maybe CMC, because CMC can do so much, right? Like maybe Bijan, because he's 21 years old and looks like he might be the best running back in the NFL already. Maybe Jonathan Taylor if he was playing and producing, but I mean, nah, it's like running back in the NFL, like no running backs getting a second. I mean, yeah, maybe those guys can get a second round pick. I mean, I know the 49ers gave up, I think, more than that for CMC, but look, the 49ers gave up 3 firsts for Trey Lance. We can't go by what the 49ers. The 49ers treat their draft picks like I treat my fab, right? Like, all in. I don't know.
Yeah,
He'd probably get like a fifth, a fourth,
like
or
a
fifth.
fifth. I think like
Yeah.
a fifth. What was he? Wasn't he a fifth round pick?
He was a 5th round pick.
A fifth. But again, even Atlanta, they have Bijan Robinson. No, teams actually like to have a good backup running back, and we see why. They're not going to trade Algier just because some team is desperate for a running back. Nah, teams aren't as desperate as we think they are.
No, and Algier is still on his rookie deal. They're not trading.
Rough times. Who's also a member? Thank you. Would you drop Warren for Hunt?
I mean, no.
No.
I don't think the 0.25 per rush attempt is enough. I mean, like the 8 carries Kareem Hunt gets isn't going to offset the catches Warren gets. No.
No, I wouldn't. I'd rather have Warren. Steven from Canada was offered Higgins and Waddle for Bijan, but said no.
Ooh.
Interesting, man. I know we're not wanting to trade Bijan, but that's tempting.
I mean, I guess it depends on who your other running backs are. Like, you've got Amon-Ra, Watson, Pickens, Addison, and Nico. I mean, I guess I could see why, because it's like, I mean, look,
Madison, White, and Kelly. Yeah, you don't want to start 2 of those guys.
I mean, that is an overpay for Bijan. I mean, that is more than a fair offer for Bijan. But I guess I could see why you rejected it.
Yeah, because this team, I was gonna say this team is definitely stronger at receiver than at running back. So
the problem is you take those wide receivers. I mean, yeah, you're starting Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Jalen Waddle, and Higgins, which is great, but you're just gonna have like Pickens, Addison, Nico, and Christian Watson rotting away on your bench. So probably didn't make sense for you.
Yeah.
I think I'm going Madison this week. I don't. It's hard to think Cam Akers is going to come in and have a big role right away. He still gets the best matchup against the Chargers. Look, again, he might run really hard this week, right? I mean, he's struggled. The team just traded for a running back. He might go out there, run really hard. It's a good matchup. White just in a tough matchup, and Kelly whatever. So I might go Madison at my RB2 this week.
Yeah, this week go Madison. I agree, and I think it was smart to reject it, even though that seemed like better value for your team. It just didn't make sense. And you can say, "Well, I'll trade a receiver for a running back." Like, what running back?
I'll also say, like, as great as it feels about Nico, Addison, and Flowers, it also feels great that people are so high on Bijan Robinson already after 2 weeks that they're saying no to Higgins and Waddle. They're like, "Yeah, right. Get out of here. Get out of here."
Yep.
Yeah. You know how much heat we took for saying Bijan Robinson RB1 this year? So much heat.
It's going to feel even better at the end of the season when he is the RB1, or at least RB2, maybe.
Yeah, see,
All
if
right.
CMC stays healthy, he might be the RB1, but it's fine. He'll be a close second. It'll be good enough.
And Dan just clarifying, he said he does have Evan Ingram with this
Okay.
team. So instead of Musgrave, that's
Well,
better.
that's good. Yeah, it's definitely better.
Yeah, you're definitely in good shape. All right, Rick Horn, welcome back. Lost Chubb and Barkley. Here are the options: Josh Kelly, Matt Breida, Kendry Miller, and not much on the waiver wire.
Well, in this case, I will go Josh Kelly, assuming Eckler is out, which I think he probably will be. I mean, Matt, you can't love Matt Breida on a short week against the 49ers. And not only that, I think today, like, their best offensive lineman is going to be out, and their starting guard and their starting tackle or something. Like, they're missing like half their offensive line this week against the 49ers on a short week. I can't start Matt Breida this week. This looks like a brutal spot for him. So if Eckler is out, it's not a bad matchup for Kelly. At least we'll know who'll get the carries. He could always score a touchdown. I'll probably go Kelly.
Yeah, I think Kelly first out of this group. If you happen to need another one of these guys because you don't have another running back that's good, I think the second choice would have to be Breida.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to start two of these guys, then I guess you have to roll with Breida. But man, not fun.
Then thank you, Vinny Vargas, new member.
Thank you, Vinny.
We appreciate that. Let's go to Rise, one of our guys. Marquise Brown and OBJ.
That's an easy no. That's an insulting offer. Insulting offer right there.
Is that a legit offer? Look, that's one of those. I'm like, okay, I get it. Maybe people will see what they can get away with, or they, maybe they don't know better. And like, that's one of those where I would clap back and be like, okay, man, don't send me trash like this. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I would. That's one where I would literally write back and say, like, don't send me another trade offer like this again. Like,
middle wings: Henry, Kyron, Madison, Robinson. I'm guessing Brian. Puka, Ridley, Watson, Hollywood, Cooper, and Collins. Who to pick? Well, I don't know how many you need, but I guess let's try 2 and 3.
All right, let's go Henry and Kyron at running back. Even though I do like Robinson, I think I still got to go Kyron. I guess if we're starting 3 here, I'm going Puka, Ridley, and Cooper.
Yep.
It's really hard to bench Cooper this week.
I am too. Cooper got the great matchup. Ridley, and now Puka is a must start. Never gets to say no to Puka again. For the next 2 weeks. Henry and Kyron. If you happen to need another guy, the fourth would be probably Watson if he plays.
Well, then he's saying also Walker or Swift better, like Kenneth Walker.
I don't know. Maybe that's for a different league or something. Walker or Swift? I think
I go Walker. At least we know Walker's getting all the touches in that backfield. We're not sure if Swift's getting them yet. We think he will, but we're not positive yet.
Yeah, go Walker.
Now, if Gainwell's out again, maybe I go Swift. But we'll see.
Mary Joe, 18 league. Fields, Bijan, Swift, Olave, Ridley, Ingram, Amon-Ra on the bench. Would you change anything?
Bijan, Swift, Olave, Ridley, Amon-Ra. Man, 18 league, of course. No, because you don't really have any. I don't see any other running backs. All right, you got Rachaad White, but I'm not starting him over Bijan and Swift this week. Not with that matchup. Definitely not benching any of those wide receivers. Nope, looks good.
One guy I'm kind of worrying a little bit about. We're going to talk about that Jacksonville offense is Ingram. Hasn't really been involved with Ridley there now. And also, they got 3 viable receivers. I mean, I think you still start him this week because it's the Chiefs, right? But after this week, if he still does nothing, then I might start to borderline panic. But yeah, I mean, he wasn't like a tight end drafted high, but you assume he's fine every week. But if he keeps doing nothing, but I think you're fine the way you are. Then let's see, Brian put up a sticker, but here it is. Wanted our take in half-point PPR, lost Chubb, missed out on Ford, just traded Lockett and Mostert for JT. What do you think of that?
I told him to do it, so I think it's great. I mean, Look, I like Lockett, but you're getting JT. Mostert, like, what do we really think? Like, we really think, like, rest of the season, Mostert's going to be anything close to JT if JT plays?
No.
So,
No, this is a good time to trade Mostert.
yeah, exactly. So,
And then
I told him to do it. So, obviously, I think it's a good trade.
Okay, so now he'll have Jacobs, JT, Brian Robinson. Yeah, that's solid because Robinson can definitely fill the void. Jacobs should be better. Better be better.
At some point.
Let's see up here. Michael Cazares, think you got offered. Okay, Josh Allen, Amari, and Jacobs for Fields, Adams, Walker in non PPR.
This is really close. I mean, I prefer Adams over Amari. I still prefer Jacobs over Walker, although I will say non-PPR makes it closer for Kenneth Walker because his lack of pass catching isn't as big of a detriment.
And touchdown edge.
For now, but I mean...
Well, not just that he has more touchdowns, but Jacobs just because that offense.
Well, true. I guess probably the right side by a little bit, but this is pretty close. This isn't like by any means, like I don't think there's like a clear loser here, but I probably prefer the right side slightly, the Fields, Adams, Walker side in non-PPR.
Yeah, I do think I like the right side a little bit better because I feel like I still like Amari this season, but Adams, I think Adams will be better.
Yeah,
I like Walker. Jacobs hasn't been it yet. I like Walker non-PPR. Fields could at least be close to Josh Allen. So, yeah, I think I like the right side. Okay, we are now down to Rick with another one. Thank you, Rick.
this is the same one, isn't it?
Is this the same question? I think it's the same question. He said he does have Jeff Wilson stashed.
It's just fine. I mean, if you got an IR spot, he's worth the stash, but
yeah, I think it's the same question.
Hopefully Barkley is back soon.
Yeah, and I wonder you're saying Slim Pickens on waivers. Look, if there's none of those guys that have been discussed already, check the video that's going to come out in a couple of days. Some stashes that you might want to hold on to just in case. All right, and then we got Harlem G319, Terry, Judy, Reynolds at wide receiver 2 or flex.
Well, I think I got to go Terry at wide receiver 2. I mean, he showed last week in a tough matchup. He's healthy. Hard to bench Terry. Man. Am I putting Reynolds over Judy at flex?
I think I am.
Yeah, probably am. It's a good matchup. He's a clear wide receiver 2 there. I don't even know what to expect with the Broncos, and Jerry Judy. Yeah.
And then we got Ford, Kelly, or Moss at RB2. I don't think you're going to flex any of these guys.
No. At RB2, it's close between Ford and Kelly. Just because Kelly has a better matchup. But Ford, look, I watched not every Ford snap, but every time he either got targeted or got a carry. He's not just catching dump offs. He's running routes. He's actually running routes. So I think even in a tough matchup, Ford can catch a few passes and do some damage in the passing game. Kelly got nothing. Like, it wasn't like he got a part of the Austin Eckler role. He didn't get the Austin Eckler role at all last week, like 0. So I probably give the slight edge to Ford over Kelly this week, just, at RB2.
Yeah, even though Kelly has the better matchup, I do like Ford. So go Ford, go Terry, and then I'm flexing Reynolds. And you said Reynolds too, or Judy?
Yeah, I said McLaurin and Reynolds, and then 40 or RB2.
There you go. Chuck, should I pick up Hunt just to have him?
I mean, if it gives you the warm fuzzies to have him on your bench, sure. But I mean, I saw leagues where people dropped like 40 something. Like You want to talk about like dropping $100 of your like all your FAAB on Ford? I saw leagues where people dropped like $40+ of their $100 FAAB budget on Hunt. Like people really think Kareem Hunt is just stepping into the RB1 role.
And not just stepping into that role, but being good again. That's if he was 3 years ago. It's like, yeah, that's the issue. All right. No, you don't have to pick up Hunt, especially if it's just to have him. So Vinny got a question: Dak or Cousins?
Oh, this is definitely Cousins for me. I if you watched our video today, when we talked about Cousins, I said Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and then I said maybe Justin Herbert. Those are the only quarterbacks I would start over Kirk Cousins this week. Now, I'm not telling, like, look, by the way, don't misconstrue that. If you have like Trevor Lawrence, don't go drop Trevor Lawrence just to pick up Kirk Cousins this week. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, if you have a quarterback that you're like, I don't feel great about him, and Kirk Cousins is on your waiver wire, grab Kirk Cousins and start him. That's what I'm saying.
There you go. Yeah, this week it's definitely Cousins. The way they've been throwing it, but also again, this defense they're facing could be a huge game again. And then Vinny wants to know Watson, Wilson, or your favorite Puka.
Well, it's got to be Puka this week. It's look, until Cooper Kupp comes back, the answer is Puka.
Never again betting against Puka.
No,
at least for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Joey LA or La. Joey Law. 12 PPR, 2 running back, 2 receiver, a flex. Lawrence, CMC, Kyron, Etienne, Mostert, Hunt. Ridley, Sutton, Judy, Cup, Atwell. I guess are we picking starters? Let's pick starters and then answer the trade thing.
Well, starters, I'm going CMC and Etienne. I'm not starting Kyron over Etienne this week against Houston. Like, I mean, come on, Zach Moss just had a nice game against Houston, and he's Zach Moss. So I'm going CMC and Etienne. I'm going Ridley. My goodness. You know what? I'm skipping the start sit, and I'm saying make this trade because your wide receivers outside of Ridley are not very good. Like, no. you can get by with CMC and Kyron. You can't really get by with Ridley, Sutton, and Judy and Tutu Atwell as your wide receivers. Now you'll have Now you'll have Ridley, Adams, and Flowers. That is significantly better than what you have right now. So forget the start sit. Make this trade. Start CMC and Kyron. Start Ridley, Adams, and Flowers. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. You're getting Devontae Adams, stud receiver for Etienne is a low-end RB1. I mean, and only in this landscape. Flowers for Mostert. Yeah, that's definitely a win. If you can get Adams and Flowers, do it. For sure, do it. And then you can, I mean, you're fine starting Kyron Williams. You're going to need to go to the waiver wire to pick up some receiver, running back depth, I should say, because you're going to have Kyron as your RB2, and then you're going to have Kareem Hunt. So that'll be fine. All right, let's go to Marcus, another one. Would you trade Kirk and Madison for Kyron? That's too much.
Yeah, I think that's too much. It's too much. Again, 4 touchdowns in 2 games. All it's going to take is for one game where he doesn't score a touchdown. He's going to get you like 8 or 9 points or 10 points. And then the Kyron kind of shine is going to wear off a little bit. So that's too much.
Yeah. I see some people now, because I saw in Discord too, people wanting to offer up some really good players just to get Kyron, who was scooped up off waivers. I'm not going all in on him just yet. Like you said, if the touchdowns aren't there, he'll be fine, but let's not, he's not the next Todd Gurley just yet. Mary Jo wants to clarify. I remember at tight end I think she had Ingram and somebody. She said she could pick up Otten. I might do that. I would put Otten over Ingram this week.
Yeah, I would too. Drop Musgrave because Musgrave was cool early in the year when it looked like the receivers were all hurt, but now it looks like they're going to all be back. It's probably going to hurt Musgrave. I'm pretty sure if I remember right, she had Musgrave. Drop Musgrave, pick up Otten. You can start Otten over Ingram this week.
Yep. That's what I would do. Keith Tapp, Evans, and Monty for Amari and Watson. Would you do that trade?
I mean, definitely. If you're getting Amari and Watson, definitely. I mean, definitely do this trade. I don't even know how to explain it. Just do it. Just do it. It's great for you. Do it.
Yeah, absolutely do that. Tegan Powell, pick 3 starts: Evans, Flowers, Puka, and London. So who are you sitting?
I'm sitting London. I mean, you can't sit Puka. Flowers in a smash spot. Evans in a great spot this week too. I talked about this on the wide receiver video. If you watched it and you think, no, I talked about it. Maybe it was a wide receiver, or maybe it's the Boom video coming up. Did I put Mike Evans? I can't remember. Too many videos. But anyways, I talked about it that the Eagles are terrible against the pass this year. There's only been 3 teams that have given up over 300 yards through the air in the first 2 games, and the Eagles are one of them. But they're still elite against the run. This is probably going to be another big Evans week. So I'm going Evans, Flowers, and Puka.
Have to start Puka. I'm definitely feeling Flowers, and I guess I have to start believing in the Evans and Baker combo. So there you go. It's the first 3. Then Dan Henry. Welcome back, Dan. Can't figure out the super chat thing. You got it. I mean, it's okay that it wasn't attached. You're not the only one. Non-PPR, Herbert, Cousins, Pitts, Henry, Rashad, or Brees.
Well, bless you. I'm going Rashad over Brees. Just can't do it with Brees yet. I mean, not getting the touches. Not a great matchup this week against the Patriots. Can't do it with Brees. I'd probably still go Pitts over Henry. I know it's non-PPR, and Henry can always score, but I mean, against the Jets, are you feeling good about Henry this week? Not really. And then even though I did just talk about Cousins, I said Mahomes, Hurts, Allen, Lamar, and probably Herbert. So I guess I got to go Herbert over Cousins. But I could see Cousins outscoring him. That one's really close. Close.
I can see it, but I'm not sitting Herbert. And then I already said I think this could be a good Pitts week. I didn't go so far. I think I had him at one point. I was like, I'm going to put him on the Boom. And I was like, nah. All right.
Yeah,
I'm not there yet. I almost did. But I definitely will put him over Henry this week. And then, yeah, I'm not starting Brees. Sorry. Not doing it. All right. And then let's see. So, what my dog's doing. Nico Santoso, would it be stupid to start Addison over the Sun God?
Yes. I mean, I'm not going to say it'd be stupid, but I'm not doing it. I don't even think Sun God will get less work than Addison. Addison will probably get less work than Sun God. The thing is, like, Addison doesn't necessarily need more work than Sun God this week, but I'm not starting Addison over Sun God. No.
If Sun God plays, you have to play him. It's that simple. I mean, if you can find a way to get Addison in your lineup, that'd be great. But nah, you can't. You cannot sit the Sun God. I mean, if he's good to go, he's in your lineup. What about Josh Daniel? Would you trade Bijan for the Sun God and Brees?
No, I'm keeping Bijan. Again, I mean, CMC, Bijan Robinson, Eckler when healthy, Barkley when healthy, Pollard, Henry, Etienne, Stevenson. Like, I mean, that's like, who else do we feel really good about at running back right now?
That's the thing. That's what we've been saying is
come around.
I mean, Amon-Ra is a legit wide receiver 1, stud receiver, but having a stud running back is definitely more valuable these days. And look, Bijan's upside is running back number 1 or at least 2 if CMC keeps going the way he has. I don't know that Amon-Ra is going to be the number 1 or 2 receiver. Maybe in top 10, yeah. Top 3, probably not. So no, I am not a believer in Brees. So no, I'm not trading Bijan for this. Jeff Scott just traded Puka and Kyron for Chase and Pacheco. How you feeling?
I feel like you got a big win here. Like, this is how you sell high on Puka. You take a guy who's doing something nobody thought he would do and trade him for a guy doing something nobody thought he would do, except for that guy, we know what he can do. Be one of the best wide receivers in football. I'm talking about Jamar Chase. You're selling high, buying low. This is a big win. Big win.
Yeah. Give me Chase over Puka. Sorry, I'm doing it. Pacheco, we'll see. I think he's fine. He's startable,
Yeah.
borderline startable each week. But again, not all in on Kyron necessarily being Todd Gurley 2.0. And I get this. We're not even, I shouldn't even put this. We're not going to go there because we don't have time for this. Are we sure he's coming back? If he doesn't, or if he gets hurt, Puka, look, it's possible. Yes, there's risk. There's risk with everything. But yeah, we're not going to go there right now. All right, Clyde Allen, super sticker, thank you. And he's got a comment right here. 12-team standard. He got Stroud, Love, and Richardson. Okay, so if this is just a one quarterback league, you don't need all those guys, right?
No.
Ford, Moss, Breida, Herbert, Edwards, Andrews, and Kelsey.
What? Wow. Okay.
Ayuk, Waddle, Pittman, Wilson. Okay, so you got 3 quarterbacks. You only need 1. You got 2 tight ends, so you're flexing a tight end. And your running backs are pretty much all waiver wire pickups.
Well, first thing I'll say is drop Jordan Love, because if Anthony Richardson doesn't play this week, then I'm playing Stroud. So you don't need Love, because you're not going to play him this week, and you don't need 3 quarterbacks. So drop Jordan Love. I guess you can only start one of these running backs, is what I'm understanding. So it makes sense why you got these running backs if you only have 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 1 tight end, plus 2 flexes. So I'm still going Ford. Oh, no, actually, no, I'm going Edwards. Because
this week
he's got a good matchup, and it looks like Justice Hill will be out. So give me Edwards, especially in standard. My wide receiver will be Waddle if he plays. Otherwise, Ayuk. I think if Waddle plays, I'm flexing Kelsey and Ayuk. If Waddle is out and I'm playing Ayuk at wide receiver, I'll flex the tight ends. I hope that made sense.
Sense. I mean, if it's just 1-1-1 and then you flex 2, start Edwards. Start Waddle, of course, if Waddle plays. But it's a standard league. Don't you need to trade one of these tight ends to get a legit running back? I think you need to.
Yeah, but who? I mean, are you gonna be able to trade? I mean, you could maybe trade Kelsey to get a legit running back. I don't know if you're gonna trade Andrews to get a legit running back in standard.
Yeah, that's fine. If I have Andrews, I'm okay trading Kelsey to get a stud running back. You need a stud running back, so I would do that. All right, then Christopher Laborde. 0-2 loss due to the kickoff return from the Jets. Lost this week due to the TJ Watt fumble. That's painful. Okay, so on that note, would you start Breece Hall or Tony Jones?
I think it's got to be Tony Jones this week. It looks like he's going to be the guy. They seem to trust him last week. He's got a pretty good matchup, right? Saints against. They have a good matchup, don't they?
The Saints?
They have a really good matchup, I think.
Packers. They're at the Packers.
Yeah, Packers not a good run defense. I'm just not ready to trust Breece yet. Give me Tony Jones this week.
Hey, he scored last week. He scored twice, didn't he? I mean, he'll probably get more touches than Breece. So, yeah, go Tony Jones. That's brutal in and of itself. Joe Castles. Welcome back, Joe. Nico and Khalil Herbert for A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown.
That's a win. Look, we like Nico a lot, but this is a long-term win for sure. Khalil Herbert, I mean, what do we really think Khalil Herbert's going to do this year? Yeah, nice win.
Yeah, Khalil Herbert shouldn't have any trade value. So you basically swapped a first-round receiver for a late-round receiver. I mean, look, like Nico, but you got A.J. Brown. Yeah, what? That's a huge win.
Yeah.
Nice job. Baller B11 got offered Keenan for Rashad and Garrett Wilson. And one with Puka instead of Wilson. I already have CD Etienne, Stevenson, Kyron, Puka, and Michael Williams.
If you're getting Keenan Allen here, I think it's a very good win for you if you're getting the Keenan Allen side, because maybe what we saw last week from Rachaad White is what we're going to get from Rachaad White this year, but I still have my doubts. And we've already talked about Garrett Wilson, like phenomenal player, but has quite possibly the worst QB in the NFL throwing to him now. And the offensive line is bad. So it's not like Zach Wilson could just stand in the pocket and wait for Garrett Wilson to get open. And even when he's open, he can't give him an accurate pass, so who cares? So if you're getting Keenan Allen, definitely take it. If you're giving up Keenan Allen for these guys, no. I'm not really understanding like which way this trade. You said you got offered Keenan Allen, so I guess you're getting Keenan Allen. So I would say take it.
And then I think he got offered it's for either White and Wilson or for White and Puka. So who would you rather give up, Garrett Wilson or Puka?
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
I mean, at least Puka is on the Rams with Matthew Stafford, and they're throwing it a ton, and he's accurate. I mean, I'm sorry, but like we were all over Garrett Wilson, but you have to just accept the reality that you're in, not the reality that you want to be in. 43% catchable target rate right now. 43. That's worse than Marcus Mariota was last year. And no one wanted to start Kyle Pitts or Drake London. But everybody's fine starting Garrett Wilson with Zach Wilson every week. No big deal. Yeah. I'd much rather give up White and Wilson.
Yeah. So take this because you don't need Rachaad White because you got Stevenson and Etienne, and then Kyron is your third running back. You'll be fine. So take it.
Definitely take this.
Let's see. Matthew Shaw. Thoughts on Pierce and Najee? Let's do quick thoughts on Pierce and Najee.
Both, I think, are playing a lot better than people think. If you just watch them play, you'll probably be pretty impressed. Najee Harris has 3 runs of over 15 yards this year, and he's only gotten 16 carries, and he's playing behind one of the worst run-blocking offensive lines in the league. Najee Harris has actually been real-life good. It's just the offense is so ridiculous. He doesn't get touches, and the offensive line is so bad. It's like he had like a 17-yard run on Monday night that was like some of the worst blocking I've seen, and he turned it into a 17-yard run. Same with Pierce. Like Pierce isn't ripping off long runs, but Pierce is breaking tackles and making something out of nothing. I mean, the offensive line is decimated in Houston. So I think they're both good players in terrible situations right now. Just terrible situations.
Yeah, I think you got to expect that they'll be better. I think we definitely have to lower expectations because of the situation. The problem is not the player individually. It's, like you said, bad offensive line play for Najee and stupid play calling.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
With Houston, it's bad offensive line play and just bad balance for him, lack of balance, just not running the ball at all. So they'll be better. Not as good as we'd hope, maybe, but things can get better. And look, Tunsil has been out. If Tunsil comes back, that should help Pierce. I think they've got to start trying to run the ball at some point. Robert Cuellar has a 10-team. Best flex between Godwin, Collins, Reynolds, Watson.
Well, I'm going to say again, if Watson's playing this week and he's off the injury report, I'm starting Watson. He has too much upside. Jordan Love's been good. If not, I like Nico.
Yeah, I'm going to go Watson if he plays. He's too much upside, and if not, go Nico. I like Josh Reynolds this week, but I'm not putting him over Nico, who's clearly the number 1 guy on his offense. And then Austin Hicks. Pitts or Henry? We kind of already had this question, I think.
Yeah, I think this week I do just roll with Pitts. Henry not in a good spot this week.
It is a good defensive matchup for Pitts. And, kind of use the same logic as Drake London. Like, they got to throw it to him at some point, right? Swift or Moss?
Definitely Swift. Don't like Moss's matchup this week at all.
Yep. Ayush, 3. Amon-Ra, Pittman, Cooper, Puka, MT, Addison, or Josh Reynolds?
I think it's got to be Amon-Ra, Cooper, and Puka. I cannot, as much as I like Addison this week, I can't bench Cooper at home against the Titans. I mean, look, maybe Deshaun Watson is just gone. Maybe that guy is gone. Maybe he's cooked like Russ, even though he's only like 27 years old or whatever it is. But I'm giving him another chance against the Titans, who just cannot stop the pass to save their life. Too much upside there. So I'm going to Amon-Ra, Cooper, and Puka.
Have to start Puka. Can't bench Amon-Ra if he plays. And yes, Cooper this week. If Sun God happens to not play, you like Addison over Pittman?
Oh yeah, if Sun God's
Addison.
out, then definitely Addison next man up. Yes, definitely.
Jeff Football, London, Ridley, Wilson Olave, DJ Pickens. Running back, you got Hall, Kyron Williams, Bijan. At tight end, Njoku Laporta. Who should you drop for Ford?
Nice.
Brees Hall? No. Laporta, probably one of the tight ends.
Laporta or Njoku, whoever you're not going to play this week. Whichever tight end you don't want to play this week. I'm still rolling with Njoku again. It's Tennessee. I'm going to give him another shot, but if you're like, I'm done with Njoku, okay, I get it. But whatever tight end you don't want to play this week, drop him for Ford. And I do like Rashawn Spears as a stash, but I wouldn't drop any of these guys for them.
Yeah, don't drop any of those receivers for sure. And I'm half kidding about Brees Hall, but no, don't drop it.
Don't drop it.
You'll be fine. All right, and then we got Paul Byerbent, Burrow, Pollard, James Cook, Chase Lamb, Hawkinson, Debo. On the bench, you got Madison, Ford, Swift, Moss, Hall, London, Stafford. Changes? ?
Pollard, Cook. If we do hear that Gainwell is out again, I'm going to put Swift in over Cook. Because then we know for sure that Swift is going to get all the touches. Rashad Penny looked terrible last week. And I think Boston Scott is concussed. So if Gainwell's out, I'm going to put Swift in over Cook for sure. I think your wide receivers are good. Your tight end's obviously good. I'm still going Burrow over Stafford if he plays. So, I think you're good. The only thing I would change is Swift over Cook if Gainwell's out.
Yeah, that might be something to monitor. Burrow, his, calf injury, allegedly. See if he's going to be good, or if you're just nervous about him. I think you're fine if you want to throw Stafford in there, but that's more of a gut call. Also, monitor the injuries. Yeah, Swift over Cook might be the move there, just because Swift will not get pulled in the red zone. And he is catching passes. He's kind of going to do it all again. Not as good a matchup, not feeling a huge Swift week, but you might want to do that. But you got a good lineup here. You got good bench options too. But not throwing Ford in there, not starting Moss this week, not starting Hall. G6. In Dynasty, got offered Fields, Ayuk, and JT for Mahomes and Sky Moore.
You have to take this.
You have to take this.
Wait. Hold on. Dynasty. Hold on, it's Dynasty.
It is Dynasty.
Let me. I just in my mind instantly was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But it's Dynasty. So hold on. Let me check myself here. I think the question I have to ask is it 1 QB or super flex? If it's 1 QB, you have to take this. You have to.
Yeah.
Because you're getting a stud young wide receiver and a stud young running back and a good enough QB. And you're basically giving up a stud young QB and a wide receiver that we're still not sure about. If it's super flex, I think you still have to take it, but it's definitely closer because Mahomes and super flex might be the 101, right? He might be the number, he might be in fact, it's not even he is. He's the number one player in Dynasty Superflex. But where's Fields? Unless Fields continues to struggle, then he might drop to nothing. But if we assume Fields bounces back, he's still a first rounder in a Dynasty startup, and you're getting Ayuk and JT. So I think either way you have to take it. But if it's 1 QB, no brainer. Superflex, it's closer, but I'd probably still take it.
Yeah, I'm taking it. I think you're just getting more value here. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say you take this. King Flores 150. Cook, Williams, Gibbs. I don't know which Williams, but okay, it's a running back. We know that. Cook, Williams, Gibbs, Sanders, and Ford. Who to start? Which to trade for a better RB?
It's always hard to trade a lesser running back for a better running back. In fact, it should be impossible. I've seen it happen, but it should be impossible. You'll have an easier time trading one of your wide receivers for a running back because if there's a team like look at your team. You have one of the Cooks. I'm assuming James. You have one of the Williamses. I'll assume Javonte. You have Gibbs, Sanders, and Ford. So if somebody came to you and said, and I'm talking directly to you, King Flores, because you can kind of think this through in your head. If somebody came to you and said, "Hey, I'll give you, like Brandon Ayuk for Jahmyr Gibbs," you're probably going to say yes because you're like, "Well, I still have Cook, Williams, Sanders, and Ford, right?" But if somebody came to you and said, "I'll give you, Tyler Algier for Gibbs," you're probably going to say no because you're like, "Why would I do that? It's a lesser trade for me, right?" So whenever I'm trading like a 1-for-1, I try to think about what will help the other team because that's going to get it an easier yes, right? So in this case, you'd be better off trying to trade one of your wide receivers. So I don't know who your wide receivers are, so I can't help you with that, but just something to think about, right? Like, okay, if you want a better running back, you could package one of your wide receivers and one of these running backs to try to get a better running back if you want. But as far as who to start, I don't know how many you're starting. I'll assume 2. I'm going to go Gibbs and James Cook. Hopefully it's James Cook.
Yeah. Gibbs is my number 1 choice here. If it's James Cook, he's my number 2 choice. And then I'll go, I guess, Ford. The only way I could see you do this to upgrade at running back with running back is if you do a 2-for-1. Like if you go to the Chubb owner and say, "Hey, I got Jerome Ford and I'll give you Miles Sanders and, give me whoever your best running back is." I don't know. I mean, hopefully it's somebody good, like a Kenneth Walker, maybe. I don't know. That would be the only way you could pull that off. All right. So, but thank you for the super chat, which by the way, we're catching up on the super chats. And if you did drop a super chat within the past 20 minutes, don't worry. We haven't forgot you. We're getting there. This is a good time for those who weren't with us at the beginning to just remind you also about Underdog. If you haven't tried it yet, remember they have a new special. This is for tomorrow night game. If you're a new customer, Daniel Jones just needs a yard. You get that freebie if you're a new customer. But also, if you do sign up, make sure you use promo code ENDGAME because that gets you that deposit match up to $100, dollar for dollar. So getting free money, and then you get the free pick. Combine it with any other picks. And if you watch our start and sit videos, we give you some of our favorite picks as far as higher and lower. You can use those or use your own. But don't forget, no matter what pick'em you do, use that Tyreek Hill higher, lower. You can go either way. It doesn't matter because just using it gets you entry for a chance to win $10,000. All right. So all of those promotions, it's one thing you got to love about Underdog. Not just there's so many things you can do on there. Plus they got live in-game picks, but then all these promotions, the free money, the giveaways. So if you haven't tried it, again, you don't have to go up to $100 for new customers. You can just put 10, 20 bucks, whatever it is, but check it out if you haven't already. It's lots of fun. So we got some chats from our members. Kevin Trotter. What's up, Kevin? Got one flex spot open. Kittle, Rashad White, and Waddle. Waddle's a flex.
Well, I mean, it's a good flex. If Waddle plays, it's got to be him. I think if Waddle's out, I probably got to go Rashad White. It's very hard for me to flex a tight end not named Travis Kelce. I know Kittle can always have that random 2-touchdown game, but is this the week for it? I don't know.
I mean, if Waddle plays, you have to play him.
I mean, yeah, if Waddle plays, it's Waddle. I'm just debating, because he is in the concussion protocol, and you never know if he'll clear in time. So I think if he doesn't play, I'm going White.
The thing is, you're going to have to wait because Kittle plays Thursday night. So if you're holding out for Waddle and then Kittle has already played, then White's your only choice. And I think that's fine. So
yeah, that's fine.
I would hold out for Waddle.
Yeah.
Mary Jo just saying thanks. And it wasn't Musgrave, it was Laporta. That's fine. Same thing. I would still go Otten, right?
Yes.
The truth. Which wide receivers start this week? Got Devontae Adams, Puka, Garrett Wilson, Jacoby Myers, Zay Flowers, and Josh Reynolds. Got some good choices, but don't know how many you need. I guess let's pick the top 3.
All right, top three in order for me. Adams, Puka, Flowers.
See, now you're going to get comments saying you're a hater because you didn't put Puka first.
Did I put Devontae Adams over Puka?
Yeah, come on. Puka is the leading receiver in the NFL. Okay. It's Devontae Adams, it's Puka, and it's Flowers third, and then fourth. I actually like Jacoby Myers a lot this
I was
week. I
going
would
to say
put
that
him
too.
next if you need 3 in a flex, I guess.
Yep.
Is it weird that Garrett Wilson's last choice on this list?
Garrett Wilson
Maybe.
definitely last. Sad but true. Sad but true.
Yeah. Mikey S needs 1. Collins, Reynolds, Hopkins, haven't talked about him, and Flowers.
I'm going Flowers. Like him, it's between him and Collins, not Hopkins. Flowers just has such a good matchup. I mean, this Flowers now has the matchup Nico Collins had last week. Now Flowers has that matchup. And the matchup Calvin Ridley had week 1. I'm going Flowers.
Yep, I already said I'm feeling it with Flowers this week. Hopkins got to worry, is the ankle. That might have something to do with last week. I'm not going to read too much into, he's not getting separation or whatever. He put up numbers week 1. I'm not really counting week 2 too much. But I'm also not starting him over Flowers this week because I want to make sure he's actually healthy. And he goes against the Browns secondary, which is still really good, as we saw. Yeah, sure, George Pickens had that big play. Look, I guarantee DeAndre Hopkins cannot outrun George Pickens in a foot race these days, even with 2 good ankles.
No.
Anyways, it's Flowers. The Gaming Wolf, if Burrow doesn't play, you're still starting Chase. That's a good question.
This is a good question. Who's even their backup? Do we even know who's their backup?
I think they have like Jake Browning, and then they signed Will Greer to the practice squad because he was really good in the preseason.
I'm probably still starting Chase, but if I have really good options behind him, I'd be okay benching him too if it's not Burrow.
I don't know. I mean, it always depends on your odd. Like, who else are you starting over Chase? Right. I don't think he's a must sit with the backup quarterback because Chase is still really good. So,
yeah, like I'm not going to start like Josh Reynolds over Chase. I'm not going to start like Jacoby Myers over Chase, like guys like that. Even though I do like him this week, I'm still going to roll with Chase. But if you had like Nico Collins or Jordan Addison or Zay Flowers, I might start those guys over Chase if it's not Burrow.
Right. It depends. I don't think he's a auto start no matter what if Burrow doesn't play, but I don't think you have to sit him. So it depends. Steven, thanks for putting me my reject of the. Yeah, no, you can't give up Bijan. Felt that going with it. Yeah, 0 RB is a method of drafting. 0 RB is not a good way of setting your lineup each week when you have 0 RBs, 0 points from your RBs. Yeah. So just saying, confirmation bias is the best kind. All right, D-Man, Mostert or Kenneth Walker?
It's got to be Kenneth Walker. Got to be Kenneth Walker. He's getting the touches.
Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
Oscar Melendez. Welcome back, Oscar. 10-man PPR got Deshaun Watson, Higgins for Metcalf, Pacheco, and Pierce.
I mean, normally I'm going to take the non-QB side, but you're getting Higgins and like Pacheco, Pierce. What are they really doing for you? I mean, even Metcalf, what is Metcalf really going to do for? I mean, like there's going to be a game here where Metcalf has, 100 yards and a touchdown, and people are going to be like, yeah, Metcalf must start. And then I'll just go back to being like, okay. In this case, I'm taking the Watson Higgins side just because I want Higgins. Not so much because I want Watson, but it's just because I want Higgins. I don't like, I just like Pacheco, Pierce, Metcalf just aren't doing it for me. So give me the Watson Higgins side.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Watson Higgins, okay, don't see you upgrading. If I felt really good about Pierce, then I would say, yeah, that's fine. You're getting running back depth. Like maybe you're desperate for running back. I mean, a lot of us are, but no, I don't want to give up Higgins because I don't think you're really getting enough, that's going to actually help your team. And D-Man's asking the same question. Okay, we already answered that one. Trigger Trey needs an RB2, a flex, possibly another receiver if Amon-Ra is out, and if you can't go either. So RB2 and a flex. Let's do Stevenson, Walker, Cooper, Drake London, Kyren Williams, Garrett Wilson.
Your RB2s are Stevenson or Kenneth Walker. That's pretty nice. That's tough. Walker has a better matchup this week.
Yeah, Stevenson getting the Jets, not ideal.
But this will probably be the first game where Stevenson is in a negative game script. Could help.
This is true. They should be able to run the ball more.
I guess I go Walker here just because of the matchup, but I mean this is tough. This is tough. I guess Walker just because of the matchup. So I'll say if Amon-Ra is out and you need a wide receiver 2, I'm going Amari Cooper. If Amon-Ra plays, I'm flexing Amari Cooper. I guess if you need a wide receiver 2 and a flex, if you need a wide receiver 2 and a flex, let's say Amon-Ra is out, I'll go Cooper and Stevenson then. I still think I like Stevenson more than Drake London this week. So I'll go Walker and Cooper if Amon-Ra plays. Otherwise, I'll go Walker, Cooper, and Stevenson in the flex if Amon-Ra is out.
There you go. I feel like Cooper, you want to find a way to put him in your lineup. So flex him. I give the edge to Walker also. And then there you go. Like you said. Okay. JK Legend put the super chat, and the question is back here. Got a trade offer, Rachaad White for Terry McLaurin and Nico Collins. I would have to drop somebody to fit the 2-for-1.
I mean, you can drop Stroud. I assume you have a better QB than Stroud. I mean, I'm assuming that if you're thinking about accepting this, Rachaad White is not like a guy you're relying on as an every week starter at running back. And I'm assuming you can also start Terry and Nico every week. I think you have to take this. I mean, you're getting 2 good wide receivers for maybe a good running back. So I think you have to take the Terry and Nico side. You have to.
I'm definitely taking the Terry and Nico side, and you can drop whoever. That's fine. It's not a big issue. Rachaad White will be fine, but he's not a guy who's necessarily going to move the needle in terms of making your team a championship team. So, and you got 2 good every week startable wide receivers. So yeah, I'm taking that. What about this? Christopher Laborde, would you trade Breece Hall for Kamara?
I don't think so. I'd rather gamble on Breece getting close to healthy by the end of the year. Look, I will say one thing for Kamara. If you drafted Kamara, you've hit like the nuts as far as like everything breaking right for him. Jamal Williams going to be gone, or at least going to be missing the early part of the season when he comes back. Kendrick Miller has been banged up all to start the season. The offense actually looks good. Like you've literally like hit the lottery as far as like the best case scenario you could have asked for with Kamara at this point. But he's still dust. I'm sorry, he just is. So I'd rather gamble on Breece Hall getting close to healthy by the end of the year over Kamara. I just don't think Kamara's going to do much this year.
Yeah, nothing's changed for me either. I'm not in on Kamara. You got Breece Hall, you might as well hold Breece Hall. The truth. Again, got which running backs do I start? Have Stevenson, and then there's Algier, Pierce, Tony Jones. Yeah, you don't want to start Hunt, and then he lost Chubb, so that's why we're here.
Am I going Tony Jones over Pierce? I kind of think you have to right now.
Yeah, because we just talked about New Orleans. You feel like Kendrick Miller, he's going to be active. But he's also a rookie playing in his first NFL game who's just recovering from a hamstring injury. And, coaches don't tend to love just, throw rookie running backs out there in the fire immediately. Tony Jones will probably be the guy. He did score twice last week, so we know they'll use him. I think it is Tony Jones. We just need to see something better from this Houston offense, this rushing offense. Look, passing offense has been great, but I think it does need to be Tony Jones. I'm out on Pierce until something changes. And look, they play the Jaguars on the road. We really think they're going to be able to just sit back and run the ball 20 times?
No, and Jaguars defense has been good so far.
Yeah, actually, that's true. They haven't even. I mean, they held the Chiefs pretty much in check. So there you go. And then Nagai. Thank you. Welcome. 18 PPR, Gibbs, Rashad White, and Puka for Chase.
Ooh. Oh, man. Oh, boy.
I feel like that's a little too much.
Yeah, I feel like this might be a bit too much. Like, if you could get Jamar Chase and then, like, a decent RB2 type back, I think it'd be better. Because you're giving up, like, 2 potential RB2s. And, look, like I said, Puka is still going to have value when Kupp comes back. They're not just going to be like, oh, Kupp's back. Now you don't. Like, I know everybody thinks, like, Kupp, they're not going to throw to Kupp now because of Puka. But the reality is Kupp will be the number 1 and Puka will probably be the number 2, which still has value in this offense. It's not like Puka, loses all value when Kupp comes back. So if you could get, like, a decent RB2 back, I don't even know who a decent RB2 is right now. There's, like, hardly any of them. But if you could, I think I'd be okay with this. But this feels like too much.
Yeah, and I love the thought process. You're trying to buy low on Chase, selling high on Puka, doing a package deal. So all very smart, but it's a little bit too much. And again, don't know who you could get. Maybe get like a James Cook or somebody like that in return.
True. Yeah.
Maybe a Swift if you're on Swift. I mean, I think that would be fine. Then somebody to replace one of your running backs. So rework it. Don't give up on this. Just try to rework it a little bit. And we do know, among all things, fantasy football is pain. So give him his props for the best, most appropriate name. What about Brian Robinson? Selling high or real deal?
Well, I'm going to say what I always say. If you can sell high and really sell high, you sell high. I don't care who the player is. Yep. You know what I mean? Unless it's like Bijan or CMC and, you're giving up one of the few true difference-making running backs. But, like, for a guy like Brian Robinson, if you can sell high, sell high. But, like, if sell high means I got Jerry Jeudy, like, that's not selling high. Or if sell high means, like, I got, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, even if you're like, well, I got, Tyler Lockett.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good player. You're going to start him every week. But what if Brian Robinson is the real deal? Are you going to be happy that you have Tyler Lockett? Like, he's good, but right now, running back's so much more valuable. Yeah. You know what my answer to this is, because one of my predictions before the season was Brian Robinson top 15 fantasy running back. Look, I'm not taking victory laps after 2 games, because I guarantee there's plenty of things that could change between now and the end of the season. But yes, I'm going to hold on to Brian Robinson if I can. I have Brian Robinson in like 2/3 of my leagues, because that's how all in I was on him. And I'm having to decide, do I start him or whatever running back? But it depends how high, right? If someone's like, take Jamar Chase, I need a running back. Okay, I'll take Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Jose Cortez, 12 team, PPR, Hurt, Stevenson, Swift, Lamb, Ayuk, Henry, Josh Reynolds. On the bench, Algier, Tank, Hopkins, Goddard, Waller. Got a lot of tight ends there. What do you think? Well, I think you got a lot of tight ends there.
I am like 99.9% certain, and by 99.9%, I mean 100% certain. I am dropping Hunter Henry and playing Darren Waller this week. Like, what are we worried? We're this worried about the 49ers? Like, yeah, I'm playing Darren Waller every week pretty much. Between him and Goddard, you'll be fine. I'm 100% dropping Hunter Henry. Outside of that, I mean, I think it's a good team. If Swift really is that guy, then it might be a great team. It's definitely got potential. Am I starting Hopkins over Reynolds? That would probably be my other decision, but that one's close. But I'm definitely dropping Henry, playing Waller. It's a strong team, and if Swift is that guy, it's going to be a great team.
Yeah, you don't need 3 tight ends ever, unless this is a tight end premium league, in which case you should be flexing a tight end. But
right,
Yeah, you can drop Henry. I know he's been good for 2 weeks. He won't be as good this week. Start Waller. I like that you got Hopkins on the bench there for Reynolds. You're thinking upside. I like that move. I think that's fine. So I wouldn't change anything in this lineup as far as like making moves. I mean, I don't know. Do you think you then try to maybe trade Waller right now and you just roll with Goddard and get somebody a receiver? Because Josh Reynolds, I don't want him as my number 3 receiver all year long. Or if Hopkins is my number 3 receiver, yeah, I think you could trade one of those guys for a decent starting receiver. I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you have good players in a onesie position like QB or tight end, it's always a good idea to try to trade them. Trade one of them. Yes.
But overall, it's good. You definitely got some good upside here. All right. So we're still on. We still got some super chats lined up. Again, we're less than 20 minutes behind. That's pretty good. So we're catching up. If you did put a super chat, we'll answer it for sure, including this next one. We do have to stop at some point because, as soon as we're done, we know we're going to pop in the best fall movie experience. See, I had to build it up this time. Shrek 2 on DVD.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Build it up this time.
10-man PPR Superflex Dynasty. Don't have enough.
Right.
Deshaun, Jacobs, Ramondre, Amon-Ra, T, Muth, Flowers, Jimmy G is the Superflex. Hunt, AJ Dillon, Akers, Gainwell, Sharp, Rice, Paris Campbell, Jahan Dotson, Downs, Ertz, and Ferguson.
Okay. Are we just giving our thoughts, I guess? I mean, thought number one is I don't want Deshaun Watson and Jimmy G as my only quarterbacks in a super flex. That would be number one. It's a 10 team. There might be some guys on waiver. I don't know. Check, maybe. T, Flowers. I'd like some more wide receiver depth. I mean, Amon-Ra, T, Flowers, that's good. But then you got Rashee Rice, Paris Campbell, Dotson. I mean, Dotson's okay, Downs. I'd like a little more wide receiver depth here. I think running back's fine. You got young, running backs with potential like Jacobs, Ramondre, Dillon, Akers, Gainwell, Charbonnet, Hunt. Not young, doesn't have potential, but can't win them all. So I would definitely be looking to get a third quarterback, and trying to upgrade that wide receiver room if I could.
Yeah, I looked at this, starting lineup, like, yeah, that's good receivers, especially for Dynasty with Flowers. Then I look at the bench and Dotson, and then I like Downs long term. He's fine, but more of just a deep stash right now. Pierce Campbell doesn't need to be on a Dynasty roster. Rice, okay, fine, but you're not going to be happy starting these guys, especially because this is a 10-team league. Same thing with running back. Look, those guys have underachieved, right? Jacobs and Ramondre haven't been impressive the first 2 weeks, but you'll be fine. But if one of them goes down, you won't be fine because Akers, let's see if he's startable. Hunt, probably not startable. AJ Dillon should be, but hasn't looked startable. So you're going to have to do some work on your depth because, again, it's a 10-team league. You should have multiple guys who could start and you feel at least good about.
Yep.
So everything you said, basically, yeah. Alex B, should I trade the Chubb owner my Walker for his JT?
I think if you're okay, like if you don't need Kenneth Walker for the next couple of weeks, I think so. I mean, we still got to believe JT is going to be better than Kenneth Walker this year, assuming he plays, right? So if you can get by for 2 weeks without Kenneth Walker, I do it. I mean, all we've heard for JT so far is he's going to be ready to play week 5. Does that mean he's going to play week 5? Does that mean he's going to be Colt? We don't know yet, but at least we know he's ready to play week 5. So chances are he's going to play, and it's going to be for the Colts because, really, are they going to somehow now Jim Irsay is going to cave and be like, fine, we'll trade him for something we don't want to trade? No, he's not going to cave, and no team is going to cave and give Jim Irsay what he wants. So he'll probably play for the Colts in week 5. I would prefer JT over Walker rest of the season if you can get by the next 2 weeks. So, yeah, I'd do this.
Yeah, if you're deep enough to get away with this at running back, then yeah, you can do it. Don't do it because you feel bad for the Chubb owner, though. There's no mercy in
Yeah.
fantasy football. And now we got another new member, Sal Palumbo. Sal's always with us. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
So let's get to the question. Lost JK, got offered Jacobs and MT for Ridley and Moss.
I think I have to do this. And it's not because I like a Mike Thomas believer. But I mean, do we really think Zach Moss is going to even be better than Michael Thomas this year? Especially if JT comes back in week 5? Like, probably not, right?
No, I'm not worried about losing Moss. It's like he says he has Lamb, Flowers, and Lockett, so he's okay still at receiver. Yeah, I think this is fine. I mean, just in a vacuum, I'd rather have Ridley than Jacobs, but you need a running back, and Jacobs, this is a good time to buy. So I think you can do this. And look,
Yeah.
Michael Thomas is at least playable. He's depth.
Yeah. He's at least a flex start for bye weeks.
Yeah, you can flex. You can flex.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, you can do this. And then Cameron Forbes got the question here. Trade away Madison and McLaurin for Nico and Michael Thomas.
This is closer.
I mean, Madison is obviously not a guy you feel you need to hang on to.
Right.
I mean, McLaurin and Nico, I mean, it's close now, which is funny because McLaurin was like a 5th round pick and Nico was but it doesn't matter. Nico's the number 1 guy. So I think this is fine. I think you can do this.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's close. I just don't want to get like too overreacting to 2 weeks and thinking like, because in my head it's like Nico and Terry, that's like close, but it's like, is it, or is it just like a 2-week sample where Nico's been awesome? You know what I mean? Like if it was week 7 and Nico had been this good, I'd be like, yeah, they're the same. But I really have. I mean, I had no interest in Madison. I felt like he was one of the biggest traps in drafts, and now the trap just got. It's like before the trap was pretty well disguised, right? But now it's like the trap is out in the open. They just went out and traded for Cam Akers. It's like, hey guys, there's a trap right there. Don't step on it. So I feel like Michael Thomas might actually be better than Madison long term if he stays healthy. Big if. So yeah, I think you can do this. I think it's pretty fair. You can do this, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a huge win for either side. I think it's fine though if you want the receiver depth, or you just feel like you want to trade Madison to get something back before he loses his job. I think that's fine. Just occurred to me we haven't done a lot of regular chats. Let's do a quick lightning round here.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so these are some from about 20-ish minutes ago. So if you're still on, make sure you listen. Derek Knowles, Watson or Stafford?
And then you pick one I can't lightning round. I think I got to trust Watson at home against Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm going Watson. It's too good a matchup. Give him another shot. All right, what about some tight end questions here? Round Betty, Higbee, Ferguson, or Cade Otton?
Assuming PPR, Otton. Actually, I might do Otton regardless. I think he has just as much touchdown upside as Ferguson. Give me Otton.
Yeah, I'm going to agree there. Let's see. Let's do – oh, we already did that one. I don't think that's a question. Quarterbacks again. How about this? Jacob Rodriguez, Dak, Goff, or Burrow?
Well, if Burrow plays, I'm still starting him. You're picking some tough ones for lightning round. Because Goff and Dak are actually fairly close for me this week. I like Goff at home against the Falcons. But Dak against the Cardinals, I'd probably still go Dak.
Yeah, I'll go Dak. How about this one? This one should be easy. Joseph Hallmark. He's saying you're probably dumb, but would you drop Zay Jones for Nico?
Not dumb. Very smart. I would definitely drop Zay Jones for Nico.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. All right, let's go back to the super chats because we got several still lined up. Let's go to Aiden Badia. Need advice on who to start. One flex at receivers. Okay, well, we got Jettis and CD, DJ Nico, Tutu Atwell. Running back, you got K. Will Moss, Kyron, Ramondre Mostert.
Okay. I'll assume 2 running backs. I'm going Ramondre and Walker. I'll assume 2 wide receivers, I guess. Jefferson and CD. And then I'm flexing Nico.
Nico over DJ.
Yeah, I just let me see Justin Fields and this offense actually go out there and be like, okay, we're going to play to his strengths and let him do what he does best. I think Nico will be fine this week. I'll just roll with Nico. If the Bears offense looks great and DJ Moore and Fields are lighting it up, awesome. Now I can start DJ Moore every week with confidence. But since you have a guy like Nico, no need to risk it. Just give me Nico.
And if Justin Fields is going to start running, well, that means he's not throwing as much, doesn't it? So, yeah, I agree. You got to go Nico. John, pick 2. Kirk, Gabe, Godwin, Judy, or Jaden Reed.
I think I got to go the first 2. Just Reed with Watson potentially back. Judy and the Broncos. Godwin just feels like, what are you getting? Like, what are you hoping for from Godwin? Like, maybe he gets a touchdown. Kirk and Gabe have the upside. And look, we saw last week against the Commanders, they gave up, 200 yards to Marvin Mims on like 2 catches or whatever, like whatever it was. Like, give me Kirk and Gabe this week.
Yeah, go Kirk. Even if he doesn't have the kind of game he did last week, don't want him on the bench. Just not feeling a big week from Judy. Godwin hasn't become that guy. Jaden Reed is tempting. He's been very efficient when on the field. But yeah, I don't think I can put him in over Gabe, especially if Watson does play. The Gaming Wolf, also a member. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, so now here it is. 3 receiver league. Have Chase, Smith, Moore, Flowers, Watson, and Reynolds. Well, let's see if I remember. Let's see if we'll go back to the Gaming Wolf's question. One of the Moores, probably DJ Moore.
Yeah, I assume DJ Moore.
All right, let's go back because I know you did put a chat earlier. Bear with us. There it is. No, that's a different one. Oh, no, it isn't. Okay, he's saying if Burrow doesn't start, you're still starting Chase. So this is a follow-up to that question. So are you still starting Chase if there's no Burrow with these receivers?
Probably. I could make a case. I could definitely start Smith over him without Burrow. I could probably start Flowers over him without Burrow. I'm not sure if I'm starting Watson or DJ Moore over him without Burrow. That's right. That's where I'm like, am I starting one of those guys over Chase if Burrow is out? Like Smith and Flowers, I feel like I can do this week. Can I do Watson over him? Not like a great matchup for Watson. I think I would probably still go Chase.
I'm still starting Chase.
Yeah.
Because Watson is still very, very iffy. Even if he plays, it's still iffy, right? There's no guarantee he goes off. More iffy for sure. And I'm not putting Reynolds over Chase, so I'm still starting him. Yeah. Mark Cleveland's traded Wilson for Swift. You like that?
I mean, if you got Swift, I love it. Love it.
Yeah, getting a guy who's very startable running back could be a breakout running back. We'll see. But yeah, you traded Garrett Wilson. That's a good idea. Mikey S. Going with Stevenson or Collins for the flex. It's full PPR.
In PPR, I think I got to go Nico. Not a great matchup for Stevenson this week. I'll go Nico.
Because of the matchup, like you said, and it's full PPR. Probably prefer the receiver. Assume Nico is going to be the number one target there again. They're still going to pass the ball a lot. Yep. Go Nico. And then Ali is in the house again. What's up?
What's up?
Help me win, please. Well, we're trying. Your top three. Again, drafting those Jets running backs. What's up with that? Your top three: Keenan Allen, Cooper, Flowers, London, Dotson.
First three, definitely first three.
Yeah, definitely the first three. And then, would you start Brees Hall? We got Dalvin Cook. Was that DJ Spears or Sharp?
I think you got to go Brees Hall here. I mean, I like the way Spears is being used, but he's not being used enough for me to put him in my lineup. I hope you get, Brees Hall. I don't think this isn't a game like last week where they should be getting just blown out and he only gets 4 carries. He should get closer to like at least 10 to 12 carries. So give me Brees Hall.
Might as well. You know what you're getting from Dalvin Cook is not much. Sharp's not playing. Yeah, I wouldn't want to start Spears. So go for Brees and hope he, squeaky wheel narrative. Maybe he'll get more touches. C. Crip. What QB should I stream this week if Burrow sits? Got CJ Stroud, Baker, Stafford, Purdy, Geno, and Russ. A lot of options.
Yeah, but really only a few I'm considering. Guess Stafford? Maybe Stroud?
Don't think it's going to be... Well, look, I'm not going to trust Russ, right, with these choices.
No, I'm not.
I don't feel like it's going to be a big Geno week. It might be a low-scoring game. Purdy, more of a floor guy. I think... Yeah, I guess I should be buying into Baker Mayfield. Look, he could put up a big game against the Eagles, maybe, but I'm going either Stroud or Stafford. Jaguars defense hasn't been that bad, but if they keep passing it the way they're passing it, maybe this is kind of one of those sneaky shootout games. You know what I mean? And then maybe the Rams Bengals is not a shootout game.
But we know with the Rams, it doesn't matter. They'll shoot out or not. Right. They'll throw it like 80% of the time. It doesn't even matter. So I might feel a little bit better about Stafford. I might go Stafford.
Yeah, go Stafford. And also, if you're sitting waiting on Burrow, you're waiting till that Monday night game anyways. That makes sense. So
yeah, true.
Stafford it is.
Yeah.
Python, what's up? 12 team, PPR, 2 running back, 3 receiver, and a flex. Got T-Law, Chase, Pittman, London, Elijah Moore, Gibbs, Hall, Rashad White, Javonte Algier, and then he kind of streamed tight end. That's fine. Okay, so who do you like of those choices?
All right, 2 running back. I guess Gibbs and White this week. I don't love White's matchup, but we know he's going to get all the touches. So Gibbs and White. 3 wide receivers. Chase. I mean, you only have. I mean, I'd probably play all the wide receivers, honestly, because you need 3 in a flex. I'm not flexing Javonte. I'm not flexing Hall. I'm just playing all the wide receivers. So Gibbs and White, and then all the wide receivers.
Yep, that's exactly how I feel. Streams tight ends, definitely streams kicker and defense. Need where he's asking, does he need some work on this roster? I mean, running back.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely need some running backs. But look, I mean, again, if Hall or Javonte can come around towards the end of the season, you'll be okay.
There it is. All right, Alex, trade Garrett Wilson for Pickens.
Definitely. I mean, look, it's not like Pickens has a great quarterback either.
No.
But I probably still prefer the Pickens side.
I'm taking Pickens for sure. Let's see. Hyocade. I don't know how you say that. Someone offered to give me Tua for Fields. What do you think? Feel like I'll regret it once Fields starts running? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Tua is certainly safer right now. But I mean, I'm not giving up on Fields. So if you're like, hey, I just want I don't want to stress about my QB, then take Tua. But I still think Fields will come around and be better.
As much as I love me some Tua, I'm still keeping Fields for now. Let's see what happens this week, right? See what happens. If he can't put up points, if he doesn't start running, see if that offer's still on the table. Dakota Richards, should I start the Jets defense or the Jags defense? Jets get Patriots. Jags are at home against those Texans.
I like the Jags a lot, but I think I still got to go Jets. I mean, are we really scared of Mac Jones and the Patriots? Jets are a great defense. I think I still got to go Jets.
I'm going Jets, but also, I think the Jags defense, they can get some sacks, but CJ Stroud, one thing, give him props, not just throwing the ball a lot and getting yards. He's not throwing interceptions. Despite being a rookie, he's not turning it over. He's a smart quarterback, so I don't think there's as much potential with that Jags defense. I'm going Jets defense. They'll get you some sacks for sure. Brandon Warren, hello again. Itching to start CJ Stroud over Geno or pick up Stafford. So this is kind of like what we just answered.
Yeah, I can start both these guys over Geno. As far as which one, I guess Stafford. I mean, you got to feel better about Stafford and this offense. It's close. It's really close. But I guess Stafford by a tiny amount.
I think you can start Stroud over Geno. We just answered a quarterback question where there's a lot of options. Stafford was the choice. So, yeah, I would go Stafford. But look, if you're feeling Stroud, you can go Stroud. But Stafford seems to have more upside. All right, I think we're caught up on Super Joe. Just when I say that, it always happens. Call me Clutch, Mr. Clutch. Excuse me. Who should I keep? Stevenson, Mixon, Walker, Brian Robinson, Algier, Breece Hall, Higgins, Jefferson, London, Michael Thomas, Amari Cooper, Godwin, Freiermuth, Laporta. Who should I keep? You mean in the lineup?
Yeah, I don't know what you mean here by keep. If you're talking about who to play, I would go Stevenson, Walker, Higgins, Jefferson. If there's a flex, it's Cooper. And then I'm probably going Laporta over Freiermuth. I can't do it with this offense anymore. I know it's a good matchup for Freiermuth, but he's had like 5 targets and 2 catches. He's had like 2 catches for 5 yards in 2 games. Like it's brutal. It is brutal. I'll just go with Laporta and take my floor.
Yeah, I don't blame you for going Laporta. I'm gonna roll with Muth one more week just because it's the Raiders. But again, it's okay if you don't. And yeah, you have to start obviously Jefferson and then Higgins, and then Cooper is third. Stevenson, Walker. You're pretty good at running back.
Yeah.
All right. Big Lush just got a question. Trade away DJ Moore for Zay Flowers.
I think at this point you've got to prefer Zay Flowers. I mean, it's 2 weeks. The Bears offense could certainly turn around. But we can't. It could also not turn around, right? They could just be a mess all season long. So I think at this moment right now, you've got to feel better about Zay Flowers.
Yeah, I don't mind doing this. I'm not giving up on DJ Moore, but I'm feeling good enough about Zay Flowers. I'd rather have him in my lineup. All right, if you do have any questions you for sure want answered, again, if it pops up on Super Chat, we'll definitely get to it. Now let's do a few more. We'll pick from randomly from the all the comments we have here. So let's see. Okay, well, yeah, let's do some quarterback questions. Matthew Miller,
right.
Lawrence or Goff?
Lawrence. Still Lawrence for me.
Yeah, like Goff for sure, but I can't bench Lawrence. Now, not knowing injury status with Burrow right now, if you had to pick, Charles Simone wants to know Burrow or Tua.
I might just go Tua anyways. It's because, if if the calf's not right, he doesn't look right at the moment. I might just go with Tua. I think Tua will be good this week.
Yeah. I take a chance with Burrow, right? He's not been lighting it up anyways. Go Tua and don't worry about it. Jacob Rodriguez, DeAndre Swift, Nico Collins, or Flowers?
I mean, again, I'll say this. If Kenneth Gainwell is out again this week, I'll go Swift because we know he's going to get all the touches. If Gainwell plays and it's we don't know how it's going to work out, just go with Flowers. He's got tremendous upside this week. He should be great. So Swift if Gainwell is out, otherwise Flowers.
Yeah, I like Flowers. I'm going to keep him in my lineup. I like all three of these guys, but Kevin Tomlinson, another one here. Zach Moss or Rachaad White?
I got to go Rachaad White. It's a tough spot for both of them, but I just believe in Rachaad White more than Zach Moss. So give me Rachaad White.
Yep, give me Rachaad White. All right, let's see here. I think we already did that one. This is a good general question. This is not going to be a quick one. I'll just tell you that.
All right.
Joshua Rogers, what's your insight into deep leagues where the waivers are pretty much non-existent? Would you trade studs for depth or vice versa?
I mean, it depends. I mean, in a deep league where I'm assuming you're starting, your starting roster is probably pretty deep. You need depth. Depth is more important, right? Like if you have, a couple studs and then the rest of your guys are terrible, it doesn't really work in deeper leagues. You need that depth. So, as far as the waivers go, in these leagues, it's always important to be ahead of the waivers and try to look at guys that you can stash now who could potentially, either break out like we talk about in the Beat the Breakout, like Pierre talks about, or like handcuff running backs. You just got to look for guys with a path. You can't worry about what they're doing right now. You got to look at the path. Like, what is the potential path? Like a guy that comes to mind is Jonathan Mingo. Probably on waivers in most leagues. But Jonathan Mingo's getting targets. It's not resulting in anything right now, but he's getting targets. There's a path. You need to stash guys like that and hope that at some point they come around. They start breaking out. So I would definitely prioritize depth in this league. I mean, studs are still important, of course, but you want depth and you want to try to be ahead of the waivers as much as you can.
Yeah, it's tough because if you can't run to the waiver wire for help, I mean, depth is important because obviously buys haven't even started and there's so many injuries already. So, but having that stud gives you such an advantage. You know what I mean? It depends on the stud and how high level it is. So it's hard to answer that question specifically, but I generally wouldn't want to trade away one of my star players just, for depth. So, as long as you have guys that are startable, if you're putting somebody in your RB2 or your wide receiver 3 or 4 or flex, whatever, that is getting you nothing, then that's a problem. You can't just, have a vacant spot. So, all right, a couple of interesting trade questions here. Let's get these out of the way. Javier Torre traded Olave for Cup. What do you think about that?
I don't think it's dumb. I mean, when Cup is healthy, I would prefer Cup over Olave. I mean, we talked about it. What would Cup be doing in this offense right now? He would be destroying fantasy football, right? He would just be fantasy football scorched earth, basically. And I'm not of the opinion that Cup is going to come back and take a backseat to Koopa. There we go. It's Cup and Puka in one. It's the greatest receiver ever. Okay. I'm not of the opinion that Cup is going to come back and take a backseat to Puka, or even that Puka is going to significantly eat into his target share. Kupp will still have a massive target share. So I think in the end, this will work out for you. But I think right now you might be able to get Kupp for less than Olave. Maybe not, but maybe.
I would think so. I mean, obviously it's done. You already said you traded, so you already did this. It might pay off for you. I mean, again, if I'm trying to get Kupp, I would want to give up something lesser. Like I would have tried to trade Ayuk instead or Keenan Allen instead. But
Yeah.
obviously you're fine at receiver. Like you're
Yeah.
not going to miss Olave. I don't know how you have all these receivers, but you drafted well. So it might turn out good. So it's not terrible. We got one more super chat here. Zen got offered to trade away Puka and Moss for
Yeah, you have to
Devontae
do this.
Adams.
This is how you sell high. You get a proven stud wide receiver one who's going to be the wide receiver one on his team for every game that he is healthy. And you give up. Yeah, good trade. Well done.
Yeah. So you saying you got offered, go accept this trade, do it. Well done. Dakota Richards sliding in here. Super flex. Justin Fields, Geno, Diggs, Nakua, T. Higgins. Best three. We can only pick three of these guys, and it's a super flex league.
Well, I think I still got. Oh man.
I mean,
you still got to go with the quarterbacks, right? But I could see any of these. I could see the wide receivers outscoring each of these quarterbacks.
All three of the receivers. Like, who do you sit?
Man,
I really wish you didn't ask this question, Dakota.
Because these quarterbacks are just like set and forget super flex quarterbacks, right? Like these are guys you're in a super flex league. 99 times out of 100, you're just starting both these quarterbacks. You're not thinking about it. But you can only start one of these receivers. Man.
I think you still have to start both quarterbacks.
I think so too. And Diggs. Can you bench Diggs? Can you really bench Diggs?
Yeah, I think it has to be the first three players.
Man, that's pain having Nakua and Higgins on your bench. That is pain.
I love Matthew. Matthew Rice got his opinion here. Sid Fields because he's a bum. I mean, he's been a bum, but doesn't mean he will be. That's a hard decision. It's very hard.
That is hard.
Look, if you're not feeling Fields in your gut, go Puka.
Yeah.
And then Chris, not you, somebody else, has a super chat. AJ, Rashad, and Laporta for Keenan, Hall, and Kelly, yes or no?
AJ Brown, Rashad White, Laporta for Keenan, Breece Hall, Kelly. I don't think so. I mean, you're giving up. AJ Brown is the better wide receiver here. Even though Keenan's been better, I still believe AJ Brown will be better. I do believe Rashad will be better than Breece Hall because, I mean, maybe at the end of the season, Breece Hall gets better than Rashad. But I mean, you're gonna, do you want to give up Rashad for the next 10 weeks to potentially have a better Breece Hall at the end? I don't think so. And then I would definitely take Laporta over Kelly. He's nothing more than an Eckler handcuff. I'm taking the AJ Brown side here.
Yeah, I'd rather have AJ Brown than Keenan. I'd rather have Rashad than Hall. And then Kelly might not be worth much, in a couple of weeks. So I prefer the first side. I'm not sure which one you're getting. If you're trading away those first three to get those, then no, I would say no.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I should put this one up. Adrian, since we started Cam Akers, let's do Cam Akers trade talk. Would you trade Cam Akers and Kareem Hunt for Raheem Mostert? Raheem Mostert. It says Raheem Mostert.
Yeah, just give me Mostert. I don't expect anything from Hunt this year, really. Akers maybe at some point, but we know Mostert's the guy right now. He looks good. Just give me Mostert. Just give me Mostert here.
Two guys that, one that was just picked up off the waiver wire, one that's probably should be dropped to the waiver wire. I mean, in a lot of leagues, I don't. Who knows what people will think of Cam Akers now? Just go with Mostert, the guy who's actually the starting running back for his team. All right, and then this is a tough one. So many haters. So many Najee haters. Najee Harris or Trent Richardson. That's not right.
That's not right.
That's just not right. Okay. We'll see. We'll see with Najee. I'm not giving up yet. After this week, I guarantee if Muth does nothing, if Najee does nothing, all right, fine.
Well,
Out on
yeah.
the Steelers. Here's the easiest question we'll answer all night. Python, when is your next live?
It's tomorrow. Tomorrow, before the game. Right. Come join us.
Going live pretty much every night. I think Friday is the only one we don't, because people do things Friday night. But yeah, join us tomorrow. We'll do some more last minute starts it for Thursday night, starts it for the weekend, injury updates. Still got waiver questions, trade questions, whatever you got. We are here for it. All right, guys, that does it for tonight. We will see you again tomorrow. Wait, you know what always happens. We got a last second super chat here. Brandon Warren, 2 flex for week 3. Who would you pick? Kirk, Osborne, Mostert, Rashad White, Tank Dell, Garrett Wilson. You need 2 of these guys.
Kirk feels like the obvious one for me. I think I'm going Osborne over these guys. I don't like White's matchup. Mostert, yeah, he's okay. Tank Dell, not ready to. We've already talked about Garrett Wilson. Osborne isn't like they're only playing 3 wide receivers. It's Jefferson, Addison, and Osborne. That is it. No other wide receiver sees the field. He's playing a ton of snaps. Should be a high-scoring game. It's the Chargers. I'll roll with Osborne. I'm going Kirk and Osborne.
I'm starting Osborne in one of my leagues at the flex. Kirk, you want in there. Yeah, Tank had a nice game, but I'm not necessarily rolling him out over other guys with better options. Wilson, sorry. Doesn't say if this is PPR. I know Mostert's tempting over Osborne. For me, it might be Kirk and Mostert, but like just said, I am starting Osborne in one league. So it's Kirk for sure, and then one of those other 2 guys, I would say. And then we got one more. Let's see. AR Cruz, pick 2. London, Gabe Davis, or Watson?
Well, I'll say if Watson plays and he's healthy and is not on the injury report, I'll probably go Watson. And am I going Gabe over London? I just don't feel like a big London game this week. I think he'll be okay. I just don't feel like a big game from him. I feel like Gabe might have a big game again against the Commanders. They give up big plays. For some reason, that defense gives up big plays. So if Watson is healthy and off the injury report, I'll go Watson and Gabe. Otherwise, I mean, obviously you're going, if Watson's not, you're going London and Gabe. So,
I mean, you felt the Gabe game last week and he came through. So I mean, maybe I shouldn't be doubting you on this. I'm Watson if he plays. I would go London because I think he's got a good enough matchup. You know, Gabe is hit or miss. He could hit. He definitely could. I would go Watson London, but if Watson doesn't play or is limited, then your choice is already made for you. Let's see. All right. Let's end on this. I think this comment was too good. This is a perfect one to end on. Boomer approves of our common sense take on Hunt, and I'll just leave that there for you. Taking victory laps on picking up Kareem Hunt is not the way to go.
Oh boy. Okay. Wow. All right.
With that, we're out. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. And then check out the videos. Audible start sits are already out. Booms are coming out. Talked about some of these players y'all were asking about. See who we love this week. And then, of course, hidden gems, beat the breakout, and a lot more. And then the lives on the weekend. So appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time.